disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is your good friend, Mr. BDA, and I'm glad that everybody could be on board for this one. Fellas, in this episode, we got a fantastic one for you. There's been a lot of occurrences since we were last on, and I do believe that we have to talk about them, so glad to be back here. A little bit of hiatus. It doesn't feel like the True North too much over here. Very humid now, so I had to do a lot of preparation, a lot of modifications for the summer, but we are back. Shout out to everybody for joining us. Like I said, we got a lot to talk about, so before we get down to the fun, you guys know the drill. Let's get the business out of the way. If you guys want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so via the Super Chat feature. It's always better to join the membership program. That way, you get more bang for your buck. You can also join us on Patreon. Shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers. Really appreciate you guys being on board, helping the gravy train keep rolling, and you're adding to the BDA infrastructure. We're always adding stuff to the computer, making it faster for editing and so on. So it goes to a good cause. So shout out to you guys. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can also donate via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Buy Me a Coffee. Again, that always works better than the Super Chats. And what else? Patreon is free, by the way. Some of the content on Patreon is free. You can join for as little as you want or for zero, but just as long as you're supporting us. And the most important thing is you continue to like, subscribe. You spread that BDA gospel, and you do it right now. All right? So shout out to you, fellas. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Blue Tack, Phil Miles, Eparokua, the Quags. Shout out to Quags, one of the initiated. The Hand History Vault, the Boxing Sicario. Who else? We got Thunderdome in the house. Shout out to him. He says he's not looking forward to the Lopez Ennis fight. I mean, like I said, I've been on record. I'd rather see Ennis take on some 154-pounders or at least Brian Norman. But the Teofimo Lopez fight is not that bad. I mean, Teofimo Lopez, yes, he's smaller, but he's the undisputed junior welterweight champion, so it's got to count for something. Shout out to Knockout Ned, Sebastian, shout out to him, one of the initiated. Jin Ryu Jr. 33, Mars Boxeo, Team Batman Boxing, Neto El Loco. Who else? Fight Sports Talk, shout out to him. Shout out to Mars Boxeo for his contribution to the Super Chat. He says, for a second, I thought Didi held BDA and Bucho captive. No such thing. I'm very slippery. You can't catch me. I don't know if people have been paying attention to the Didi trial, but my oh my, is some sordid stuff going on there, let me tell you. Sordid stuff.
You're mine now, so I'll let you go. You are mine. You are my meat. You're my possession. Go!
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Tell you the truth, I don't want to know. Flashbacks. What else? Shout out to the Quags, Parukua, Knockout Ned, all these people, and everyone else is going to be coming in. And shout out to Mars Boxeo for his contribution with the super chat. All right, let me invite a couple of people over here. And then we'll start talking. Again, there's a lot to talk about. The last episode we covered the aftermath of the sordid City of Wolves card, which, I mean, listen, on paper, it looked like it was going to be worth something, and then it turned out into crap, which I mean, who expected that, right? Who really called in and said, hey, that's going to be a boring event? More people were invested in shutting down or tearing down the whole card. Oh, people aren't allowed in. There's no concession stands, this and that. I'm thinking, wait a minute, they tried something new. It didn't work out. What, you want people to stay? And then we hear people complaining about, oh, boxing never changes it up. So you can't win with some people. That is the lesson to take from this little escapade. We got Bucho and we got Quentin Lassiter jumping in. Fellas, thank you for joining us. We didn't talk about the Canelo school fight, nor the Inoue fight against Cardenas, as well as what was the other one? Espinosa versus Vasquez. Oh, so there's a lot of things to talk about here. Fellas, what do you want to talk about? You tell me. Somebody tell me.
Yeah, school. Yeah, well, you're right.
School.
We didn't talk about that fight.
That's right.
I mean, Skull was running. Clearly, he was running. Yeah, I was disappointed in Canelo. I think I said it on the Discord. He could have done more, but it was the guy who was at fault was Skull for the most part. This guy was literally running, you know. And at the end, when the final bell rang, he's looking at Canelo and smiling like, like he knew he did something wrong. He knew he fought like a bitch, and either he just wanted to go there for a payday and not get knocked out, or he knew that his only chance of winning the fight was maybe frustrating Canelo and then catching him coming in at some point. But that was pretty much it. He wasn't there to actually win a 12-round fight. He was there to maybe land a big shot, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there was like a bunch of like videos that after the fight that Skulls actually claimed that he thought he won the fight, which I thought was pretty hilarious.
Well, that's I'm
confused. What else can he say? I mean, yeah, I saw that too. It's pathetic.
I'm confused because after he said he thought he won, and then a couple of days ago, somebody put a Discord. I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't checked that out. So you guys in the Discord, tell me if I'm wrong. Supposedly, Skull now is saying that he was told to throw the fight. So which one is it? Did you think you won the fight or what?
Well, why doesn't he just fake a knockdown or something? Pretty easy, apparently, right?
I mean,
according to some people. He could have just taken a knee. He could have done anything. I mean, he could have faked that. You know, Canelo landed some big body shots. He could have taken a knee after one of those body shots, and people would have believed it.
But what I'm interested in is, and that, again, so many people have talked about this before, but just to give our take, which is pretty much the same. That okay, yeah, I blame Canelo too for not doing more. But I was talking to Gonzalo, and he did make a good point. He said, how are you, like with the other guy, he's a challenger. He's the guy that's supposed to be doing something. This is a fight of his life. He's getting paid the most he's ever fought. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. And he decides to go in there and run and hope that he can win on one punch at a time. And that's the other thing. I've heard so many people say, again, we've had this argument before with other people that, well, it's up to the other guy to do something about the runner. When you're facing an athletic guy like Skull, and the guy, if Canelo who's fighting him is a midget compared to the guy, there's only so much you can do. He was pinning him, he was sticking to him like glue, but it just came when that final throw the punch. By the time Canelo threw the punch, the other guy was always already halfway out of the side of the ring. So there's only so much you can do. Yeah, one thing that, like I said, that I criticize Canelo for is, where was his jabs? Where were his straight rights? A couple of straight rights to the body, pin the guy down. Who am I to, right? That's what people always say. Well, who are you to criticize a professional fighter? I think we can all agree that there were things that he could have done a little bit more. But like Gonzalo said, why is Skull just doing enough And Canelo's winning by doing what he's doing, which is enough, but nobody criticizes school for that, if that makes any sense. Canelo did what he had to win. Could he have done better? I don't know. I don't know if anybody could have done better against school. Maybe Prime Golovkin.
He could have done more.
Maybe Prime Golovkin. Yeah. But why? You think Crawford could have done any better? You think that Charles could have done any better? You think Janibek? I mean, I don't know.
Hell, the referee could have done better. It's time for these referees to realize what the rules of boxing. You know, when you see a guy who's stalling or not engaging in a fight, then that's when you need to call and halt to the action and say, like, hey, man, you got to start fighting or you're going to get DQ. Like, the referee got off scot-free, in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing, though. The referee warned them, but ultimately failed to do anything about it. And now this has kickstarted a conversation. Showbiz the adult, who dwarfs all of us on the YouTube boxing community. He has the ear of a lot of people, you know, that watch his show. Not to denigrate him, but he does have more casuals watching him. That's why part of that makes the bulk of the audience, I would assume. Again, I'm assuming, I don't know. But the point is, he's reaching people that we don't reach. And I'm glad that somebody finally spoke up about the running, because he made a video, I think a bunch of videos, if maybe I'm wrong, but saying, hey, should, and he's not even, I didn't watch the videos, but it seems like he's suggesting about whether there should be a rule against excessive movement and clinching, because clinching is illegal, unequivocally. There's no excessive this and that. Clinching is illegal, and excessive movement is a way of self-defense, but not boxing defense. So there's a distinction there to be made. Back in the olden days, you couldn't move around that much. People would boo you, people would throw chairs, and even certain commissions would withhold your pay because you didn't show up to fight. And people say, well, this is a sport, it's not a fight. Yeah, it's not amateur boxing either. This ain't computerized boxing the way it was post-1988, where you touch the guy and then you run around and then you touch him again and you hope that scores a point. And you win by the skin of your balls. That's not boxing. That is not boxing. And then I hear the same argument that we always hear from other people. That's a strawman argument. Oh, so you want fighters to get CTE? You want rock and sock and robots? Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying it's either you run or you stand your ground and slug it out and then turn into a retard post boxing career. Nobody's saying that. You can have the best of both worlds. Take a look at Schofield. Raymond Ford, when he fought Nick Ball. I remember prior to the fight, I said, I don't want to see him run because it's going to be worse for him if he runs, because Nick Ball is just going to keep on coming. He's going to keep pressuring. The movement from from Ford is going to give Ball momentum. I want to see, I remember I said this, I said, I want to see Ford stand his ground because I think he's got the firepower to get Nick Ball to respect him. And yeah, I think ultimately, Nick Ball won, and I do think that ultimately he ended up outworking him. I thought it was a fair decision. But Ford withheld himself very well, proved himself in that fight. So, and he didn't run, nor did he slug it out. So you can be a fast, quick fighter and still stand your ground a little bit and throw some leather. You don't have to run one punch at a time. Guys, what do you think? I know I've been talking a lot here, but actually, hold on. Let me super chat. What's that? Yeah, real quick, super chat here. Shout out to, I don't know why I'm not getting the alarms there, Bucho. Shout out to Brown Gun. Haven't seen him in a while. Shout out to Brown Gun, who says, Skull use his most sweet science. BDA hating, bro. yeah, I'm hating. Yeah, but you know what? He's being facetious, but shout out to Brown Gun. But it's true. People say, well, it's the sweet science. That is not the sweet science. When you're doing excessively moving, hoping that you win the fight. And by the way, again, the fight of his life. It was a fight of the opportunity of a lifetime for school. That's the best he can muster up.
Oh, yeah. We're never going to see this guy again. We're never going to see this guy again. He's the stupidest boxer I've ever seen in my fucking life. Nobody is going to want to see William Skull again. Definitely not in Saudi Arabia. No, not anywhere. Not even a garbage dump. Not anywhere. But I mean, the Sheik, anything that's related with the Sheik, he's not gonna show up in any of those events.
Yeah, there's times where Skull could have took advantage of counter-punching opportunities, and he decided just to get away from Canelo, so the dude wasn't even trying to land anything. It was trash.
We got the FST in the chat here. I mean, on the panel. FST, I know it's been a while, though, since this happened, but do you have anything to say about the Canelo school fight?
Oh,
Any thoughts?
thanks for having me on, guys. No, I mean nothing. I can't say anything that hasn't been said already. I mean, it was awful, and I mean, I think Canelo was, because I've seen a lot of people, and I'm gonna have to do several videos on this. I've seen a lot of people say, well, based on that performance, Crawford embarrasses. People are saying he'll do to Canelo what Mayweather did. I think Canelo was bored because, I mean, he's an old. Yeah, if you put things into context, he's an older guy. He's been around for a long time. And he had a guy who was just running away the whole time. So his performance is kind of understandable, but I expect him to be a lot more alert and urgent against Crawford.
Yeah, I expect Crawford to actually come to win. I mean, that dude didn't give Canelo anything to work with other than running away. So I really don't get where people get where he looked bad. Oh, I mean, he definitely looked bad because obviously he didn't cut the ring, but I mean, where they're saying that he and all this. I mean, they're acting like he got countered and pieced up or something. The dude didn't do anything really to him.
Well, I think people confuse too. When people say cutting off the ring, you cut the ring off, but you don't cut it off completely. In other words, you can't box a guy in unless you have him in a corner. And even then, if you're moving in to punch, the guy can dunk down or get close to you and then spin you. So Canelo was actually sticking to the guy like glue, but it's just when he finally went into for the punch, the other guy was running. So now the argument seems to be, well, Crawford's going to make him miss and make him pay. And I go, yeah, but it's a matter of seconds here we're talking about. There are going to be some exchanges. And even that's the thing that's impressive about Canelo, though, is that he was facing a fast-twitch guy in school who was very jittery and just looking to counter as soon as Canelo got close to him. Canelo made him miss a bunch. And Crawford's a better fighter than School, but he's also closer to Canelo's size now. He's not 6'1" or whatever School is. School looked like, I was listening to the 3 knockdown rule, and Steve Kim said that fucking School looked like Tarzan in there. I mean, bulging muscles, the type of musculature that Jimmy can break down very easily. The type of musculature that Double L in the chat says, ooh, I like that.
He looked like Tarzan, but fought like Jane.
That's a good one. I'm going to steal that one,
But
Quentin.
also, yeah, but also, I mean, I wasn't impressed with Canelo again because he didn't cut the ring off, but here's the thing, he wasn't even good at. He didn't have fast feet in his prime, so I'm not surprised that as he gets to his mid-30s and he's had a very long career, it was hard to pin down a guy who was just moving constantly. So that doesn't surprise me. Mm-hmm. This Crawford thing, again, my thoughts really haven't changed because people are saying, oh, Crawford's going to outbox Canelo at times, and he's like, I expect him to. I expect Crawford to win rounds in there. But I don't get why people are missing this. Lots of fighters outbox Canelo. Kovalev was outboxing Canelo at times. Amir Khan was outboxing Canelo at times. Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders even. These guys have success against Canelo, but it's the same thing every time. He marches them down. He hits them to the body. He slows them down, and then he breaks them down. So I don't get why people think this is going to be any different. And also, once Crawford feels the power of Canelo, he's going to feel the effects from that because he's never been hit by somebody who hits that hard. So I really think people are overlooking the reality of this fight.
Well, I think Crawford has a chance to win. If he had some armor, he might be able to absorb the punches more. But that's what happens with Canelo, man. These guys taste that power, and they go, no, sorry, Bob. This type of
exactly.
I don't need this type of aggression. I don't need this type of problems. I'm just gonna move. But we'll see if Crawford does it.
Yeah, exactly. A big guy like Skull didn't even try to do anything.
I mean, Berlanga was terrified. Berlanga was terrified of him.
Berlanga.
Yeah, I get
all these guys. They were all running. The last guy I saw actually tried to put on a fight was Bivol, Caleb Plant at some points.
But this is
tried.
Hey,
after Munguia got dropped, he kind of got scared, to be honest.
Yeah, and Munguia, I mean, one of the reasons why he why he didn't have too much success against Canelo until the later rounds where Canelo got tired is because he's a stationary fighter. So it was easy for Canelo to march to him. It's harder for Canelo to get to movers. Like, again, it took him a bit of time to get to guys like Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders, etc. But once he does get to them, like you said, BDA, they feel the power and they're like, ooh, this is different. And Crawford, I mean, I don't know why people are forgetting the Jamel Charlo fight. Like, Jamel Charlo, people talk about the size and say, oh, Crawford's got a pretty big frame for a welterweight. Yeah, Crawford's a lot bigger than I thought he was.
Great point.
So was Jamel Charlo. Jamel Charlo's more naturally bigger than Crawford, and he was taller. He looked bigger than Canelo in some ways. And as soon as he felt the power, he turned into a cat. So,
right.
Do people really think? I mean, I can't believe people are overlooking this. Crawford didn't want to let his hands go against Madrimov because Madrimov was being very tricky. So do they suddenly think he's gonna let his hands go and turn into Roberto Duran against Canelo? Like, I don't get where people are coming from.
Can I say something just about Canelo struggling against movers? But who wouldn't have struggled against William Skull moving around like that? Right? Who wouldn't have struggled, or not struggled, but who would have had a hard time really putting on a beating on a guy like Skull or a guy like Jermell Charlo, at 168? Because also the guy didn't want to fight. He was skilled enough to be able to go 12 rounds. So, no, I don't, name me a boxer that would have won in there and destroyed Jermell Charlo or destroyed William Skull.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is a prime Triple G. That maybe would have been able to catch this guy, but listen,
and he's one of the best boxers we've seen in the middleweight division for a while now.
Absolutely.
So that's the guy you have to pick to say maybe he could have done it.
But this is good for us boxing fans because the Canelo Crawford fight, a lot of people were like, they were meh on it. Some people were high on it, or actually picking Crawford. Like Tim Bradley, I think he's always. Well, he was on the Crawford train, and then briefly he was off. Now he's back on, especially after the school fight. So this is the best thing that could have happened because now this fight is seen. I'm talking about the Canelo Crawford fight. Is seen as more competitive. So there's going to be a lot more hype, a lot more excitement, a lot more spiciness, as Gonzalo likes to say, in this fight. So I'm looking forward to it. The other thing is, and we're going to have to move on later from this fight because
Skull. People are getting annoyed by Skull.
But what I'm saying is. The other thing that I hear about Crawford is, he's a mover, so he's going to be able to expound on what Skull did. But I'm thinking, look, the guy's 38. When's the last time we saw him move that much? He didn't do it against Madrimov. And Madrimov, that's the other thing. People go, well, Madrimov has faster feet than Canelo. I didn't see him. Madrimov's not the type of guy that has to leap in. He can leap in. With leaping left hooks, those gazelle hooks. He can do that, but against Crawford, he wasn't leaping in and catching him because of his foot speed. He was inching his way forward, getting in range, and then tagging him with straight rights. Guess what? Canelo does the same thing. There was no... I didn't see this superior Madrimov foot speed compared to Canelo's. So again, I don't understand that argument that people make.
And also, how well is Crawford going to move with 12 extra pounds, like fighting at 168 for the first time he's ever fought that heavy before? Yeah, sure. He may look in shape. You can see his abs. You can see his muscles. But are you in fighting shape?
Did you say you can see his ass?
He said asshole.
I said you can see his abs. Yeah.
Oh, abs. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
but
abs,
and on top of that, and on top of what you just said, the age. I mean, it's a guy that's going to be 38 soon.
Mm-hmm.
Putting on all those pounds, it might be a big ask. But like you say, BDA, the best thing that could have happened was this William Skull fight because Canelo didn't look great, and now a lot of people are jumping on the Crawford bandwagon. So it's making this fight more interesting.
Absolutely. This is what we need because Cepeda versus Shakur Stevenson. Okay, now recognize he said, did you just say a big ass? Now he said a big ask. But all right, listen, it's a Friday show. It's a Friday show. Anything goes, I guess. But you're right, though. It's an exciting. Makes it more exciting. I wanted to talk about a little bit about the Inoue fight because Inoue fought against Cardenas the day afterwards, and then some people were saying, "I always told you Inoue was overrated." I'm thinking, wait a minute, he got
Oh
I
my
understand.
God.
I understand that if he gets, listen, he gets dropped now. It's the second time in 4 fights, I believe, that he's been dropped. It's a
Can I go first on this one?
Well, hold on. It's the second time he's been
Hold
dropped
on,
in
hold
four.
on.
It's the second time he's been dropped in 4 fights. So yeah, he has defensive liabilities that are finally being exploited in his fourth weight class, right? But I do cut him some slack, believe it or not, because it's not like he's getting dropped and then he continues getting tagged in the fight. What's impressive about Inoue is he reminds me of Joe Calzaghe or Felix Tito Trinidad. He gets dropped, and that only seems to make him better. I know that's not what it is, but what
More
it is
aware,
that he's
yeah.
or more aware, yeah. And it's the same thing with Inoue. You drop him, okay, and then afterwards he just beats that guy's ass for the next couple of rounds. That is impressive. So many people don't get, some people were saying, well Crawford, I always said Crawford was better than Inoue. Well, you don't see Crawford looking that bad anymore because he only fights once a year. If you're fighting 3-4 times a year, of course there's going to be some points where there's going to be some exploitation of your flaws, especially when you're fighting world-class guys. And then I heard the other thing was, but he's an Uber driver or a forklift driver or whatever. I'm thinking, so what? You know how many boxers work part-time jobs? I don't understand where the denigration for that is.
Who's Cardenas trainer?
Diaz. No, not Joel
That's
Diaz.
right.
The other, the same guy that trains MJ, right?
Yep.
Talking about Antonio Diaz? Is that what you're talking about?
One of the Diaz brothers, yeah. But FST, you said you want to say something about the Inoue fight?
Yeah, well, just because last year before my channel blew up, one of the first videos I did that got a lot of attention was defending Inoue from unfair criticism. And one of this chin thing, I mean, I really could not believe where people were coming from, because the first time he was dropped was last year against Luis Neri. I mean, like you said, this is his 4th weight division he's a champion, and 5 if you talk about the division that he skipped. He fights in a way that allows him to get dropped. He's like you mentioned Felix Trinidad, Calzaghe. I would throw Roberto Duran in there as well. And he's a warrior. He gets dropped, and it just makes him angrier. And he has great survival skills. He showed that against Luis Neri. He's not just an offensive phenom like a Pacquiao or a Duran or a Chavez Senior. He's also got a lot of boxing skill in there. So this criticism of Inoue's chin is just really ludicrous to me. Like, Cardenas is not an elite fighter. Like, the only challenge, and I've been saying this all of last year, for him is Akhmadaliev. And Sam Goodman has ruined his chances. He should not get another opportunity. So the Akhmadaliev fight will be interesting. I wish the fight had happened last year. But Inoue's fought so many top competition. Like, can people just give this a rest? Like, the criticism Inoue gets is just freaking ludicrous to me. I'm not saying he's.
They don't want him in the
14.
pound for pound. They don't want him to be number 1. They don't want him to be number 2, nor 3. That's pretty much it.
Not for nothing, but when I was on Twitter, not for nothing, but when I was on Twitter, and the people that were giving out those flimsy arguments against Inoue, I said, let me check their Twitter page. Basketball after basketball post, no boxing, and if there was some boxing, it's all Tank Davis posts or post denigrating Haney or Shakur Stevenson. So I'm thinking, okay, these guys are casuals and they like a specific brand of fighter, particularly those that run people over and then flee the scene of the crime. But listen, Inoue is, I like the adjustments he made. Cardenas was relying on that catch and shoot. And as soon as Inoue smelled that and got dropped, he said, okay, and then just proceeded to pick him apart. It's amazing that Inoue at 122 can still break down his opponents. That high guard, it doesn't work against Inoue because he'll just wear you down and wear it down and stop those guys in the process. So Akhmadaliev is not that type of guy. He's a more mobile boxer, but I am worried about how he looked particularly in the what's his name again? The Filipino Tapales fight. Tapales, yeah, because Tapales, he had that. Now you're talking about a guy with quick feet, a guy who was able to close the distance very quickly, almost Manny Pacquiao-esque with that 1-2, and that's something that Inoue still has a bunch of speed galore. So, and that's what froze Akhmadaliev. So I don't know how he's going to handle that speed, and on top of that, the power that Inoue brings.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for Akhmadaliev. What makes this fight interesting is Akhmadaliev has had his issues with other fighters as well. But what makes this fight interesting is his is his Olympic pedigree, and just he's one of those guys who's not really spectacular, but he's very solid in all areas. So it's going to be a good fight. And in terms of speaking about Inoue's greatness, because I see these dumb arguments all the time from so many people. People say, "Oh, so you're saying he's as good as Floyd is?" Just no. That's not what I'm saying. I compared him. After his fight against Luis Neri, which again was one of the first videos I did. I said he reminded me of guys like Duran, like Ray Leonard with his movement, like Roy Jones with his athleticism. But I'm not saying he's as good as those guys yet. He's still got a lot to prove. But if he beats Akhmadaliev and then ends up fighting Nakatani next year and beats him, we can have those conversations. But the idea that, and I get it, all fighters get this, like all fighters are criticized unfairly, but there's something about the criticism of Inoue that really scratches my head, because it's not that long ago he moved up to super bantamweight, and okay, his run at bantamweight wasn't the strongest. It was nothing like Usyk's run at cruiserweight, and he went in to fight Stephen Fulton, the number one guy, in his first fight, and people were saying, well, this is a 50-50 fight. Shit wasn't even competitive. It was one-sided ass-whooping from Inoue. And it seems that people have forgotten that and said, well, Cardenas isn't that good, and Doheny wasn't, like, yeah, the Doheny fight was trash. I trashed that last year, but, I mean, are people forgetting who this guy has beaten? Like, give me a break.
They don't even know. They don't even know about these divisions. And by the way, shout out to Thunderdome. Makes a succinct point here. He says, Inoue proves he's better by stepping to his opponent and breaking them, not running and playing tag. Exactly. And that's the thing that's impressive about Inoue, that he could do that. He could be a back foot bitch. He could fight in the ass style because he's got the explosiveness, the foot speed, and the hand speed to do it. And we've seen him do it, show that athleticism when he fought Donaire the first time. He was moving around a lot more than he's used to. Also, if you watch some of his sparring footage, he's taking it easy on his sparring partner sometimes. He'll move around more, work on defense. He could do that. But he knows he's got the power. He knows he wants to entertain. More importantly, he's got balls, something a lot of these guys don't have. And that's why he's as revered and beloved as he is in Japan. He's a fucking rock star over there. That's why I didn't understand why the Top Rank had a hard-on to bring this guy to the States when he's already a star in Japan. By the way, shout out to Never Sobers for his contribution to the Super Chat. He says, where's that liquor at? Where's that liquor at? We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. But yeah, anything else on Inoue?
Nope.
I guess just last thing on what I think about his greatness. For me, he's number 2 in this era behind Usyk. For me, he's clearly above Canelo and Crawford. And also I would have to put him above Lomachenko as well. But if he beats Akhmadaliev later this year, I would say that's probably a top 5 win for him, maybe a top 6, one of the best wins of his career. If he then fights Nakatani next year, I think so. And if he fights Nakatani next year and beats him, then that's when we can start putting this guy in the conversation. And I'm going to love doing this because that's going to drive the fanboys crazy. We can put him in the conversation of Floyd.
No, because what I said was, it sounded like you said top 6. I don't know why I'm hearing stuff today. I think you guys are doing it on purpose to provoke me.
I think your mind's playing tricks on you.
I said never. Or you're thinking about your mind somewhere else.
Never. I never have dirty thoughts.
I said nigga never.
Never. Oh. That is. By the way, the other fight in that card. Shout out to Rafael Divino Espinosa, man. That dude. I had my doubts about how he was going to look against Vasquez, because Vasquez, we talked about it in the build-up to that fight. Vasquez had given Raymond Ford a very tough fight. A lot of people felt he won that one. Then he gave Cordina another tough fight, although I do believe he lost that one. So he goes back to 126 to fight Divino Espinosa, and Espinosa this dude can punch with either hand. I don't remember the last time a tall guy was able to fight that well on the inside, because Fundora doesn't fight as well on the inside for being such a tall guy as Espinosa does. Espinosa keeps that chin tucked in a little bit better, a tight defense, tight, and just his punches are tight too. And he just chewed up poor Vasquez. He had
maybe
him
like
all over the place.
Like a Paul Williams. Maybe that was the last time perhaps a guy that tall fought really well on the inside.
Yeah, Margarito too could really work on the inside for being such a lengthy guy. But yeah, Paul Williams is a good one because he had that ability where if you clinch him, he would have one hand free. I don't know how he would get one hand free and just keep hitting guys. And you could tell those punches hurt. And he could throw 1,000 punches per fight. So that's what Espinosa reminds me of.
Yeah, the legend is that as soon as you would clinch Paul Williams, his arms would actually grow 3 inches in length. So kind of was like
yeah, he's got separated joints or something.
And also, I mean, yeah, I was impressed with him. I mean, great thing about Espinosa is that you can't question his heart. He showed he's got tons of heart. And I agree with you. He's got better defensive awareness on the inside than Fundora has. I just have a feeling he's gonna lose at some point. Like, I wouldn't pick him to beat Angelo Leo. I wouldn't pick him to beat any of the other champions.
Really?
So he's a fine. Well, because of his defense, man, he's too open. And I mean, again, great heart against Robeisy Ramirez, but if he's getting dropped like that against that guy, I'm not going to pick him to beat Angelo Leo. And I do think that Nick Ball is maybe a tad bit overhyped by some people, but I'd pick him to beat him as well. Stephen Fulton definitely is going to beat. Well, Stephen Fulton's moving up to fight Oshak, so I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I just don't think he's going to be number one in this division. I mean, if Inoue moves up to featherweight, that's very, very interesting. Yeah, I just see his fighting style just isn't going to last.
Angelo Leo, I think he's got better defense than Angelo Leo. I mean, the way he fought, what's his name? Robeisy Ramirez. Yeah, Ramirez dropped him because he made a stupid mistake, Espinosa did, switch hitting. He didn't expect the guy to be able to catch it from the far out there, but he stood in front of a big puncher in Ramirez for the most part and was able to out-hustle him in there and outwork him. And ultimately had him reeling in the last round. And then in the second one, he makes him quit. So I think Angelo Leo has more balls than Robeisy Ramirez. But I don't know.
And we can question Ramirez's heart, but like that dude obviously has a high caliber. I mean, the dude's 2-time Olympic gold medalist and became a world champion in inside 10, 11 fights. So he's definitely a good fighter. So getting knocked down by him really isn't a stretch.
Well, he's good. I mean, the featherweight division is super stacked. It's one of the most stacked in boxing. I just don't think. I'm just not sure about his longevity at the top. But we'll see.
Well, he's already 31. He's at his peak now, but 2-3 years from now, yeah, maybe he starts going downhill. You never know. Shout out to, by the way, real quick before we continue. Shout out to who was it? Frankie Sainz for his for rejoining the BD organization, reestablishing his membership program. Shout out to Frankie Sainz, and he says, "Hello BDA, Mirage has grown on me, and even Solvers has in ways too. FST talk sucks balls, and he just yaps like a wife that you want to off." All right. Well, first of all, I have to read. I have to read people's comments legally. I'm obliged to read people's comments, but that doesn't mean I agree with them. That's number one. But shout out to Frankie Sainz for his contribution, and I don't know who he was married to, but the fact that you feel like you gotta off someone you dislike that much, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, since this is one thing I'll say. Look, I mean, everything he said just shows he's. I understand getting onto YouTube. Not everybody's gonna like you. But everything he said was just so retarded, it's not even worth replying to.
Oh, hey, yo, the R word. Come on now.
Sorry.
I mean, you can say, listen, it's the N, there's the N word, there's the R word, there's the F word, the Z word. There's a bunch of words you can't say on here. I know you guys.
Todd.
Was that?
Weetad.
Yeah. Or you can say tard. I don't think they've outlawed that yet. But shout out to Frankie Sainz. And listen, Frankie, man, call in and give FST a piece of your mind when we open up the phone.
No, come on.
I mean, he's got a right to express himself. He's got a right to express himself. And if he wants to call you a tar the second time, hey, listen, we can't stop him. Okay. So the other fight that took place was Lee Wood versus Kashashi. I didn't even know that's how you pronounce it. I thought it was Kasasi. Who is Kashashi, which is like he's half Italian, half Irish or something. Kind of like Jimmy, except he stayed on the Kashashi stayed on the other side of the Atlantic. But that dude fucked Lee Wood up, man. And Lee Wood, did anyone ever teach that guy how to tuck his chin in? I mean, my God, he was just eating jabs with that. And I like Lee Wood, man. I like what he did to Michael Conlan, knocking him out of the ring. That was a great performance. But man, this guy, and then coming off a year layoff, I mean, it was expected to happen. But shout out to Kasheshi, man. He showed that Celtic spirit. What did you guys think of him?
A good performance. When it comes to Lee Wood, this guy was good, but never really that good in my opinion. And he was, his power bailed him out several times.
Mm-hmm.
And then, moving up in weight and then coming off a big layoff, I think that, it was a big toll on the guy. But yeah, I'm not taking away credit from, what's his name again? Kachichi? He did a great job.
Dex in the chat. Yeah, Kasachi. Kasachi. Is that how you say?
Hey, man, what the fuck? We don't even know his fucking name.
Let's call him the Mick Wop or Wopnik or whatever.
Damn, what the hell? No, but anyways, he's a good ball. But he's 35, I think, or 36.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he's up there in age.
36, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to see him fight Navarrete, man. That would be a great fight.
I want to see him fight Sugar Nunez if Nunez gets past Rikishi later.
Well, that's the thing, though.
There's plenty of fights there, man.
That's the thing, though. Kaseichi said that he admitted that he docked Sugar Nunez for the payday against Lee Wood, which is kind of refreshing to hear. It's like, hey, listen, I'm 36 years old. I've been screwed over before in the past. Listen, I wanted to get a payday. What do you want from me? But then if he fights Nunez in the future or another top guy, I think he could give a lot of these guys some real work.
Yep.
Shout out to. Did you just super chat yourself there? Oh no, that's a Real Talk Combat. Okay, because I was getting confused there. Okay, so that's another person right there. So Real Talk Combat. Shout out to him for his contribution with the super chat. He says, "Shout out to Mr. Owen Sven, Fight Sports Talk." Is that your real name?
Okay. No. This is okay. I don't even know what to say to this shit because it's
Who's
so
that? Who's Real
it's so
Talk Combat?
dumb. Oh, he's
that
some
your
guy who
ex-host?
likes to troll me. No, he's some
Your
guy who
ex-boyfriend?
likes to troll. He's some guy who likes to troll me and then say, "Oh, it's all jokes." Like whatever. I don't even really care. I just don't see. I don't understand how I get this much criticism because I'm not even like. I didn't get on YouTube to troll people. I just got on YouTube to. Yeah, all I do is debate people, and a lot of people seem to have a big problem with that. But whatever,
listen.
I'm not everyone's a fan of me. I guess.
And then Mirashi saying he destroyed you on another show. That's interesting.
Listen, shout out to Real Talk Combat. Shout out to Real Talk Combat, which I think he's trying to steal your spot or something with the sports talk combat, the talk thing. I think that's what's going on. But I'll tell you what's really. Well, shout out to Real Talk Combat for his contribution. I'll tell you what's really going on, though. I know why people are going after you. It's the anti-New Zealand sentiment that's going around these parts. People are talking a lot about Kanye West and his songs and how he's going after a certain desert tribe. People aren't talking about this rising anti-New Zealand sentiment that's been going on. So you should really pay attention to that one, man. And it's not your fault, man. Listen, you didn't choose to be born in New Zealand or as a New Zealander.
Yeah, no choice in there.
They hate. Well, yeah, they hate the country that most people don't even know exists. They just hate us.
They hate the country that shouldn't even exist. New Zealand. What is that anyway?
Oh,
I'm just saying, man. I'm just explaining to you why. Anyway, listen.
Those are them fighting words. Words.
I'm kidding around. Hey, listen. I like the
New Zealand part of Australia.
So. Can we get back to
boxing?
New
Zealand, all the elites are going there. They're building bunkers and shit.
Can we
that's because they control. That's why people hate New Zealand because they control the world. They control the banks, entertainment industry.
By the way, super chat. I don't know if you read the Frankie super chat.
No, but I read the New Zealand scrolls of the elders of New Zealand. That's what I read. It's all outlined in those scrolls, man. They tell you that they're planned for world domination. Which super chat are you talking about?
Frankie.
All right,
I'll read it.
Frank.
Oh, no,
I'll read.
Yeah.
I can read. What, you think I can't read? Shout out to Frankie Sands for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Haney won, but school lost. Shake my head, just saying. That's a good point, man. That's a good point. Why did Haney get...
really, that's...
What do you mean? I just said it is a great point.
Well,
an amazing point.
Sorry, but I'm not even.
I've heard
I'm
better
not
points,
even
but
a
it's
Devin.
not bad.
Come on.
I'm not even a Devin Haney fan, but there's no way he lost to Ramirez because Ramirez barely landed anything. So I don't get where people are getting this idea that it was unfair for Haney to win. Like, yeah, the fight was boring as hell, but he did win.
Yeah. I mean, listen, runners don't merit my time anymore. They can run straight off a bridge, as far as I'm concerned. And shout out to Frankie Sands there for his contribution, and shout out to Jin Ryu Jr. 33 for his contribution to the super chat. I gotta tell you, I don't really like the number there, the 33. Not a fan of that, but shout out to him for his contribution. Really tell you, man, I really appreciate it, Jin Ryu. You didn't have to do it, but you did it. You came through. Shout out to him. He says, "Salud, BDA and Bucho. I feel like you guys have been tied up in a basement somewhere, maybe by some escorts. Some shekels for your troubles. How about all these boxers like Teo and Bam now picking Crawford? Can't wait to see it." Well, first of all, now, listen. These rumors that we were tied down in a basement somewhere, people keep saying that. I don't know. Do we have that reputation that we go around getting tied up in basements? I don't know where people are coming from.
I think somebody heard that Slim Shady paid a visit to you.
Come on, Slim Shady. Anyway, listen.
Put you in the basement along with Dr. Dre.
All right, now listen. I've had enough of this. I'm not even going to entertain these wild, spurious allegations. I will say this though. It's true though. Now more people are picking Crawford. Teofimo Lopez picked him because he's salty now that Canelo kicked him out of his camp, apparently. And we're going to get to Teofimo Lopez, by the way. Don't get it twisted. Bam, listen, Bam's a guy that he enjoys a little bit too much of the watching some runners and stuff like that. Like, he really holds him in high esteem. All I'll say is this. I remember, you can focus on the experts, so-called experts. Fighters, we've said it before, they're not experts for the most part. Most of these guys don't watch boxing. Roy Jones, remember when they asked Roy Jones back in 2023, hey, who's number one pound for pound, Crawford or Inoue? And he goes, well, you got to put Crawford in there. Because let's remember, Crawford's undefeated. Inoue isn't. When he fought Nonito Donaire. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is he on about? Also, you want to talk about the experts. How many so-called experts picked Anthony Joshua to beat Alexander Usyk the first time? Right? Or how many people picked Bivol? How many people?
And they said it with confidence. Huh? It wasn't like, oh, it's a 50-50. No, like, oh, he's just too big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's too big. He's too strong. Whatever that means.
That's it. That's the end of it.
Or how many people picked Canelo to beat Bivol? A lot of people were saying, Canelo's just going to run through him. Meanwhile, not to toot their own horn, but people was like Thunderdome, people on this panel too, they picked Bivol to beat Canelo. A lot of people picked Usyk to beat Josh over here, and we caught a lot of flack for it. So boxers, yeah, they box, but guess what? Once they go home, they're too tired to watch more boxing. They're not watching the lower weight divisions. They're not watching guys that aren't fighting in and around their division. So I hate to say it, but it doesn't really mean much when you start talking about, presenting boxers picking another guy and present that as evidence to strengthen your argument. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. It could serve as evidence, but then also you have to look at what they're saying. Because not for nothing, but even before the school fight, some of the stuff that I was hearing from the so-called professional boxers is, well, Canelo's going to win. Why? Well, because, Canelo doesn't do well against movers. Okay, but Crawford, is he a mover, really? When's the last time you saw him move?
Yeah.
And is he as fast as Cool? Is he as big? I mean, you need to provide more context than just say, well, movers give Canelo problems, therefore Crawford's going to win. Okay.
It's not just that, but again, you got to these guys. They have to address the size difference. Like people always like to bring up Duran going the distance with Marvin Hagler or Ray Leonard against Hagler, and yeah, but those guys they didn't. Like Duran had time to build himself up to being a middleweight, so it's not exactly apples to apples. Like Crawford had one fight at light middleweight, and hasn't fought since, and he's just been waiting to build himself back up. So it's completely different.
You bring up an excellent point when you brought up Duran, because I wasn't around back then. But when Duran he lost to Laporte in a non-title fight, got dropped in that one, ended up losing a 10-round decision. In the rematch, Duran gets dropped again early, but then he's in shape and is able to overtake Laporte. Now, if the Leonard Duran fight were to happen today, and we're in the build-up to it, how many people would be picking Duran to lose to Leonard? Because, hey, fucking Laporte was able to drop him. Now imagine what Leonard's going to do to him. And instead, what happened? Duran out-hustled and outworked and outboxed Ray Leonard for 15 rounds. It was a close competitive fight, but that's not what people were expecting back then. People would have said, oh, Laporte, hey, listen, Leonard would have been on a lot better than Laporte. So it's the same thing here. People just look for the surface level stuff. Oh, Crawford has better footwork, therefore he's going to win. Okay, but he's going to have to punch too. And Canelo ain't easy to hit. Is Crawford that much superior as a sniper that he's going to be able to pick off Canelo? I don't know. It's just people hit interesting points.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, yeah, people were picking Duran to lose to Ray Leonard. I mean, that's one of the reasons Duran is so great, because he kept defying the odds. And when you talk about the guy who dropped him in a non-title fight, do you mean Esteban de Chaves?
Esteban de Jesus. Esteban de Jesus.
My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I said Laporte. Yeah, I said Laporte. Thank you, recognize. I meant Esteban de Jesus. Yeah. Duran beat Esteban de Jesus.
Come on, what's the matter with you?
I mean, all this talk about asses and basements. I mean, come on, you got me all riled up.
I can see that.
But it goes back to the point of Inoue earlier. That's how Duran fought. So it wasn't a surprise that he was getting dropped, because it's again the way he fought. And Crawford's certainly not going to be getting dropped that easily, because he's a far more cautious technical boxer. But he didn't let this goes back to what I said earlier. He didn't let his hands go against Madrimov because he was wary of being countered. Mm-hmm. And style to style, Canelo is a far more hittable target. But again, it's those body shots. Like, loads of people hit Canelo, but guess what? Nothing happens, and they keep getting hit with body shots, and they all respond the same way. So yeah, and going back to the experts thing, I'm glad you brought it up. Like, I've only made one video on this, but I got 1 million of them. The amount of people who wrote Usyk off going into the Fury fight and then tried to cope and say, well, the rematch will be different. It's these people are crazy. And Duran, I mean, Crawford, he has still become sort of a bit of an American sweetheart, the way that he destroyed Errol Spence. And I mean, that is one of those wins that you feel will never die. But people are definitely going overboard. Like, when they were talking about him fighting Canelo when he was still at welterweight, it was just like, do you guys have any idea what's coming out of your mouths? And
you know what? I don't know what's coming out of their mouths, so I know what's going in, and that's Crawford's dick. A lot of these people are really into Terrence Crawford.
I was not going there, but okay.
Well, I went there. I went deep, no pun intended. I went down the throat. But listen, the point is that you're absolutely right. It's Duran, once he fought Leonard, he fought a different way, more composed. He was going all out against his lightweights, but then when he fought Leonard, he had to tighten it up. So people make changes. But that's Crawford's being overrated, Canelo's being underrated. It's just the way things go. By the way, shout out to Never Solvers for his contribution with the super chat. He says, get this clown off the panel or I'll do it myself. Well, now, is he talking about me? What's the matter with you, Solvers? I'm the host here. I'm the main host.
He's probably talking about me. He's probably talking about me because everybody, for some reason, I'm the target of everyone.
They're just busting your balls. If you ignore them, they go away. FSC. That's the way. That's the rule of the game. But shout out to Never Sobers for his contribution. Again, legally, FST, I'm obliged to read him. But Shazar said that people are picking Crawford because he's black. Well, listen, let's get into it. Enough about this Canelo school. We'll talk more about that deep into the summer as we get closer to September. But I wanted to talk about Teofimo Lopez. We're going to be talking about Afro Anglos now. That's a good segue. Teofimo Lopez got into a little bit of hot water. I can't even play the video, I don't think. But he was seen in a video a couple of weeks ago hitting the punching bag I think his father's the one that was holding the phone recording. And Lopez said something, he claims he said, bring that liquor. But it sounded like another word that rhymes with liquor. You know what I'm talking about? The N-word. And so now people are really digging into him, saying, okay, now it's clear that he's a racist, they're saying. Which, by the way, I've been on record saying that racism, more than anything, is an ideology. It's not a word. If you say a word, that doesn't necessarily make you a racist. It could, if you have the ideology behind it, and then you say the words. But just saying the word itself. But I understand, on the other hand, I understand why people would be incredibly offended by that, which goes to show you something. Teofimo Lopez and his father are a bunch of weasels. Actually, that's not the correct word. They're annoying as fuck. What word would you use? They're a bunch of... Okay, Teofimo Lopez and especially his father are swollen assholes. The swollen assholes of boxing. And what's interesting is, I hate to make it about ourselves, but what's more important than ourselves on this show here? Teofimo Lopez and his father were always up in these wild antics in the build-up to the Lomachenko fight during the pandemic. I will remind people that in the build-up to their fight in 2020, Teofimo Lopez, who was probably inebriated, at least he looked to be that way, was in a hotel in the lobby, and he saw Lomachenko and his team walking towards the elevator. And so Lopez Sr., in all his wisdom, ended up rushing towards the elevator, tried to get on, and started berating the Lomachenko team to the point where it seemed like he was going to try to get into a fist fight with them. And then afterwards, once he went over to his son, and I think it was Eli Segbach or one of those so-called reporters, asked him, hey, what happened? What happened? He goes, oh, I went up in them and I told them I'm going to kick their asses. And then when he said that, Teofimo Lopez Jr. is listening. He starts jumping up and down like a little ape, all excited. And I'm thinking, like father, like son. And then afterwards, once Lopez Sr. was a little bit more composed, he went over to Top Rank and they were doing an interview for ESPN. And they asked him about that. Like, what happened? And he goes, I don't know what happened, bro. They just, they've been disrespecting us. Teofimo Lopez Jr. said the same thing after the fight, by the way. The reason why he refused a rematch with Lomachenko was they disrespected us. But he never said how they were disrespected. But if it's like father and son, then it was probably something they imagined in their head. So all that to say is, we were telling people way back then that these guys were swollen assholes. But here's the thing. They were going to fight Lomachenko. And people really dislike Lomachenko, right? For whatever, maybe the true racist.
Hey, really?
That's the racism. Oh, yeah.
No, people don't hate Lomachenko. People love Lomachenko.
FST. If you were here in 2020, I don't know if you were on Twitter at the time or watching any other channels, there were a bunch of people that really disliked the guy. They were praying for his downfall. And the reason the official reason, according to them, it's because he's overrated. ESPN is overrating him. And I'm thinking that's the name of the game. The networks and the promoters are supposed to overrate a guy. But the reality was, it's because he was a white guy. And most of the people who were trying to tear him down were non-whites. Anyway, all that to say that Teofimo Lopez, people really accepted and they overlooked his stuff. But now, 5 years later, he's continuing to act like a swollen asshole. Now, all of a sudden, people are getting up in arms about it. So all I'm saying is, we have a good amount of experience, life experience on this panel. We got Bucho, we got Recognized, FST. I don't know how old you are, but you sound like a smart guy too. All that to say is, we were telling people even way back then, that guy's a swollen asshole. But now it takes 5 years for people to realize it. Now people want to see this guy exiled from boxing, excommunicated. He should be stripped of his WBO belt. What do you guys think?
Well, a lot of those guys, a lot of them switched up on Lopez because now he's going after their favorite fighters.
Well, first of all, I just want to respond. A lot of people saying that I'm blue-pilled on this. I know Lomachenko. Of course, there are some fans who don't like Lomachenko, but every fighter, including the greatest ones, they've got certain fans who don't like them. So that's what I mean by that. The vast majority of fans love Lomachenko. I know that there's some people who don't like him, but that goes with every fighter. This is no different for me than Angel Garcia screaming the N-word repeatedly, whether his son was fighting a black guy or a Hispanic guy or a white guy like Keith Thurman. So it's all. I don't know why that. What?
No, continue. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because you said white guy like Keith Thurman.
Again, I don't. All right. It's
He's
just,
not white,
I don't
bro.
know.
He's mixed. Well, go ahead. It's funny.
Tomato, whatever.
Call him. Well, listen, call him half and half.
Mixed, whatever the fuck it. It's probably.
I recognize you really stumped him with that one, man. Come on, FST, go ahead, man. Come on, forget about the race.
I thought he was joking, but I guess he thinks Keith Thurman's really white. But go ahead. All right.
Yeah, but go ahead, FST. Forget about the white-black thing. Yeah.
Did he say mixed people or whatever? I'm taking offense to that.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Have I offended another person here? Like, geez.
You're offending everybody because you're from New Zealand, and New Zealanders offend everybody with their control of the world. But go ahead.
Jesus Christ!
I'm kidding. FST, real quick. That's why people keep trolling you because you take things a little bit too seriously, man. We're kidding around. Go ahead.
No, I know you're joking. It's just people keep fucking lighting me up in the comments. But anyway,
ignore them.
Back to boxing. Teo and his dad are just obsessed with getting a reaction. Hence the monkey and the banana comment about Crawford. And I mean, he said in an interview that they didn't pull the stunt with Keyshawn Davis when he fought Barinchik.
Mm-hmm.
He was just trying to get attention. So they're just obsessed with this. And I don't know how they actually feel about black people, but the shit is going to get a reaction. And it's just, given the climate we're in, like, it's so much different than when Angel and Danny Garcia were pulling all of their stunts. It's like, this is going to piss people off, but in a bad way, but you just keep doing it.
That's what I was telling Gonzalo. Shout out to Gonzalo. That's what I was telling Gonzalo. Shout out to Gonzalo on we were talking the other day, and we came to the conclusion that it's almost, speaking of half and half, I think it's half of what you said, FST, that he's doing it for attention, but also I think it comes naturally to him because, like I said, the guy is that type of weirdo. He's a weirdo. He'll say whatever he thinks is funny. But that's the other problem with Teofimo Lopez is that he doesn't draw. He's from New York, and when he fights in New York, it's damn near empty. He couldn't even fill up the theater at Madison Square Garden. Not Madison Square Garden, the theater. I mean, come on, this dude. So he's the most accomplished of his generation compared to Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. He's a two-time undisputed. And I know people are going to say that. No, he was undisputed. I call him undisputed because my definition of undisputed is different from the mainstream media. The mainstream media that is owned by FST's people. But the thing is, he's the most accomplished guy, but he's not a draw. And that must really stick into his craw. That, hey, man, what do I have to do to get noticed? So maybe that's partially why he goes into these type of diatribes. And also, like I said, he's an idiot.
He holds himself well in big fights that he's had, but at the same time, he always sabotages his own fucking career. Look how long it takes him to get fights.
Mm-hmm.
He negotiates himself out of a fight. So he's one of those type of dudes that, yeah, he's very well accomplished because he's obviously a talented fighter. But at the same time, he thinks he's worth more than what he really is. Or he wants to be worth more than what he puts in. And he's not consistent with his career. I mean, look at the fights that he's had. Like he'll show up for the Lomachenko fight. What was the other guy? Josh Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
But then, he'll have a stinker like what was the guy? Jermaine Ortiz. I don't totally blame him for that fight, but he could have did more. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Claggett fight. I think Claggett is just a tough guy. But how many? Hey, listen, let's not turn to Monday morning quarterbacks. A lot of people were saying Barboza was going to beat him, or at worst, give him a tough time. And Lopez concludes. What's the word I'm looking for here? Unequivocally beat him. Outbox him. So he's got skills. He's got panache. I don't know about him moving up to fight Jaron Ennis, but it could work out. You just never know. By the way, let's listen to what Teofimo Lopez had to say about the. Did he say the N-word? Didn't he say it? Blah blah blah. This is the latest he said on that, and this was during I think he was doing an Instagram live.
Y'all don't know the backstory about what Crawford said to my father? It's like y'all just focus on, on his part, and that's it, because y'all deride him. But, like, he said my father was a drunk. And then my father, at least that,
No
like,
lies.
you know.
By the way, he was out of breath because before I didn't show it, but he was burning a cross. No, I'm kidding. Now he's out of breath because he was hitting the punching bag. He was hitting the punching bag.
Disrespecting my father. So I just said, where that liquor at? Because we over here in the gym. Whether y'all believe it or not, that's on y'all.
Yeah.
All right, so he claims that I think Crawford is the one that called his father, Teofimo Lopez's father, a drunk, and so therefore Lopez was saying, "Hey, come get that liquor."
Sure.
You guys believe it?
Well, it's true.
No, it's more than obvious. Yeah, exactly. So even if Crawford did say that, then yeah, it's true. But also, like you said, BDA, this over the top antic started with the Lomachenko fight, where his dad almost. I mean, if Lomachenko's team weren't restrained and professional, a fight would have broken out. I mean, it almost broke out with Kambosos' team, because Kambosos' team is they're a lot more aggressive. So this is again just what we've seen from the Lopez's. They say something, they try to cause as much drama as possible, and then they'll say, well, actually it's like this. It's like, no, we know what you're fucking doing. It's just it's nuts how they just keep on doing this, but this is who they are, and it's I've said it before. I think it's going to be Teofimo's downfall, because they've made it clear they're never going to take responsibility for anything, including what happens in the ring. And yeah, against certain styles he looks great. If he really is serious about fighting boots, he's going to get crushed. And I just want to make this clear, because I'm getting so many people in the fucking comments. I'm fucking European. I don't know where these people are getting I'm black from. It's sorry guys, the trolls are just driving crazy.
Yo, FST, I gotta tell you, man. Our chat is notoriously what's the word I'm looking for here? Particularly vexing. And if you pay attention to it, every other comment, you're gonna drive yourself nuts. They're kidding around, man.
Right.
Listen, how many? You know what they say?
They're literally fucking with you because they're getting a reaction. They love it. They love it.
Yeah, listen.
Okay.
They said about recognize. Everyone gets it. Recognize. People said, "Oh, the story became that he used to sell. He sells bootleg DVDs in the streets of Brooklyn." Bucho, he's a drunk. Me, they call me a trampire, which is a tranny that only goes out at night. So everybody gets it, man. Everybody gets their share of it's just ball busting. It's just ball busting. Don't make me tell you again, because I'm tired of doing it. But okay, so the question is, should there be repercussions? Some people are saying that there should be repercussions against Lopez for saying that word. What do you guys think?
No, of course not. No, because repercussions. What do you mean? Like a fine?
Yeah, or being stripped of the title of the WBO strap.
Okay, then let's be consistent. Then, if we're gonna do that, then you do it to everybody, right? So the next time, if it's not Teofimo, let's say it's somebody like Devin Haney, Crawford, making what seems to be racially insensitive comments, then strip them too.
Or because again, this is what I've said before too. I mean, if you're gonna be fining people or punishing them for words, how about for actions? How about running over a pregnant woman, running into a pregnant woman, and then fleeing the scene? And what? That not there's no repercussions for that. And now, by the way,
what's worse, a guy saying bad words, or a guy actually physically doing something that could have killed someone?
It's a good question.
Oh, it's got to be the N word, of course.
Well, it's the United States. The United States, that's the ultimate sin now in the eyes of some people. But also look at Teofimo Lopez now. He said it a week ago, or thereabouts, and it's already dying down, because in today's era, with globalization, we truly are in the global village now. Things move fast. The news move fast. As soon as you say something, a week later it gets lost in the ether, because things are just moving so fast. There's always a new thing coming out, or a new a tidbit of information, news story. It's just, and people are starting to learn. This ain't 2010 anymore, where if you say a bad word, you're gonna lose everything. Nah, it's a different world. Dare I say, a more sane world.
Yeah, there's so much. Well, I wouldn't say the world's more sane. I would say it's more insane than it's ever been. But yeah, it's. I mean, they just did it for a reaction. And in terms of fines, I mean, the only time I really thought, do you guys remember when Deontay Wilder was champion? He was saying openly, "I want to kill my opponents," and there was talks of him being fined. Like, I didn't really make much of it. I mean, loads of fighters say what he was saying. But when there was a time before the Dominic Brazil fight where he said, after I unalive kill, after I kill Brazil, I want his son to look at me in the eyes. And I mean, that even made me think a bit. Maybe Wilder needs a slap on the wrist here, because I mean, it's all about, we're having this conversation because at what point is there driving too much hate? And if Lopez was saying this in the context of a certain era, then we would definitely be talking about that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think this has happened in boxing, but in MMA, we've had fighters. A Georgian fighter, he was trying to, in a pathetic virtue signaling way, try to shame a Russian fighter because of Vladimir Putin. And I thought that was incredibly disgusting, because I mean, Vladimir Putin is one of the worst people on earth, and this guy was trying to frame a fighter who's just like him, trying to make money for his family, as a supporter of that guy. I mean, it was horrible, but it was glanced. You mentioned, BD, about how the things move so quickly in this space. It was glossed over repeatedly, like it never happened. So there's loads of this stuff goes on, and these kind of comments are made, and people ignore it a lot of the time. We're just talking about Teo because, well, he's getting the attention he wants.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I found the whole killing opponents, I always find it distasteful, or most of the time I find it distasteful. Just like some people have the right to find the N-word distasteful. But I don't think people should be fined over it. I think fines should be relegated to doing things in the ring. So if you go into a fight and you lose your shit and you start hitting a guy in the balls repeatedly, or you headbutt a guy, not accidentally, but just, deliberately, or stuff like that, something egregious, yeah, you should be fined or even stripped. But for words, that is a very dangerous precedent, and I don't like it. Now, the other thing is, we got to move on here to other stuff. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. If you, how many likes are we at? We're at 53 likes. That is disgraceful. That is unconscionable, unconstitutional, and unchristian, dare I say. So we need at least, listen, we're not going to ask for much. At least 16 more people hit that like. Get us to 70 likes. 70 likes, we open up the phone lines. Otherwise, once we get done with some of these subjects, we're packing it in. How about that? So 17, no, how many did I say? I already forgot. 16 more people hit that like, and we're golden. All right, so let's move on to something else here. Now, we had Shakur Stevenson. He's going to be fighting William Cepeda in New York City in the undercard of Shiraz versus Berlanga. That's going to be an interesting one. So I really want to focus first. The press conference was pretty good. So we're going to watch a couple of clips here of the press conference. And here we go. Okay, so here they ask Shakur Stevenson about him being already compared with some of the all-time greats.
For Mr. Versace, this belt...
The fuck is that? Hold on, that's not it. Oh yeah, that's because the Sheik called in, interrupted the press conference, and everybody bowed down to him because, it's the Sheik. He gets to do what he wants.
Back to you. This moment for you is, you hear everybody talking about it, comparing you to the greats of all time. When you hear that, how does that make you feel?
It's cool, but I don't get too caught up in it. I'm not trying to get caught up into like a trap to where it's like I'm thinking so highly of myself that I'm not going to put in the work for the fight. I'm also know that I'm not sleeping on Williams Cepeda. I understand that this is a fighter in front of me that been waiting on this opportunity his whole life. I know.
All right, so that's what he said. They asked him, hey, what do you think about people comparing you to the all-time greats? He goes, I don't need pay too much attention to it. His tweets would say otherwise. Let me just give you one example, because I don't want to spend too much time here. This is what he said on Twitter. No, hold on, that's not it. Hold on. Let me just look at it here. I know I got it here somewhere. All right, here it is. somebody says, some guy called Nuke on Twitter said, "You're the only one on the picture, ain't fought somebody else in the picture." And then Shakur Stevenson says, "Testimony to how great I truly am. I'm the only one nobody would give an opportunity to." Well, first of all, and by the way, there's a whole bunch of him, Crawford, and Clarissa Shields. I call him the trifecta because they're always going on and on about how great they are on Twitter, which is it's weird because I don't see Usyk doing that. And I don't see Inoue doing it, even on the Japanese-Ukrainian side of Twitter. Even Canelo, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Canelo's ever said, "Hey, I'm great. I'm greatness. Appreciate greatness." What do you guys think? Should somebody maybe say something about that, or is that just Shakur Stevenson being Shakur Stevenson?
He's being a bitch.
You know what? I just mentioned Shakur Stevenson. People fell asleep. That's the power of Shakur Stevenson. Even just talking about him, it doesn't seem to tickle people's fancy. Hold on a second.
It's getting to him, though. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Shakur is just
my boy Shakur.
He's almost got two different personalities. On one hand, he says everybody's ducking me, nobody wants to fight me, I'm the boogeyman, etc., etc. Then suddenly he's talking about not getting paid enough for William Zepeda, and then he backtracks immediately, and he's the only fighter publicly to sign a deal with Turkey and then speak out publicly against him. It's just, guys, I don't even know what to make of the guy. He says that he wants to be recognized for being great, but on the other hand, he's suddenly getting selective about his opponents. I don't know what to make of this. It's kind of like with Teofimo Lopez. Teo, as I said earlier, I think he's crazy to call for Boots Ennis, but he's doing it because he wants to shoot for greatness. Shakur, he's a world champion. He's now got a chance to, I think, fight the best fighter he's fought at lightweight. I mean, I don't think very highly of William Zepeda, but it's still a great fight for Shakur, and just getting this over the line was difficult because of Shakur. So I don't know what to make of the guy.
Well, it's interesting you brought that up, that he's complaining about people docking him, and that's why I hate this. Well, not hate, but that's too strong a word. But I really dislike this when people want to talk about who's docking who. When people want to have that conversation on this type of platforms. It's ultimately irrelevant to me because look at all the talk about Shakur Stevenson. Cepeda's docking him. They're fighting now. Like, what do you want? Fights take a little bit of time to happen sometimes. So that's what I dislike about that. Now, the other thing is it seems, speaking of dislike, as if Mike Coppinger, journalist extraordinaire, and Shakur Stevenson really hate each other or dislike each other. This is what
New York City
happened between Coppinger and Shakur Stevenson for Ring TV. Okay, check this out.
With boxing superstar Shakur Stevenson,
superstar, by the way,
one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He's going to defend his WBC lightweight title on July 12th in New York City against William Zepeda. Shakur, thank you for being here with us this morning. And look, this is going to be a tough fight on paper, at least, against William Zepeda. Tell us why it won't be tough in the ring.
First, I want to say we were by far the worst commentator and interviewer in the business. Actually, this is his third take. But, William Zepeda is a great fighter. And, on paper, it's supposed to be the hardest fight of my career. So let's see what happens July 12th.
Yeah, we'll see. And I appreciate the kind words, Shakur. Thank you for that.
Nah, no kind words for you, brother.
Oh, okay. Well, I was being sarcastic, obviously. But
oh, for real? I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm glad you have a sense of humor. But
Shakur Stevenson has thin skin.
That's the most entertaining Shakur Stevenson I've ever heard.
I mean, there's a big gap between his boxing ability, his defensive abilities, and it's wider than the gap in his teeth. Let me tell you, this dude, like Butcher said, it's getting to him. But that's not all. Then they had another back and forth. Let me see if I can find it
right,
here.
But you're basically saying you want your credit when the fight goes the way you think it's going to go.
I want my credit from all of y'all. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear, oh, he wasn't that good. Oh, he had this. I don't want to hear.
Hold on, what?
I was just saying, I was not talking like him. Ole, y'all. I went Ole.
But by the way, yeah, check this out. My composure doesn't lie down, man. Check this out.
He wasn't that good. Oh, he
Fair
had did. I don't want to hear none of that shit. When I whoop his ass, I want y'all to just say I'm the best. That's all I want.
Like, when you say whoop his ass, do you mean whoop his ass
Hey,
in
man,
a...
just pull up and see.
That's a great question. He caught him with that. What do you mean by whoop? Because that's what they say. They say, I'm going to whoop his ass. And then they go in there and they go 12 rounds and, oh, it's my hands hurt and blah, blah, blah. So, and his answer was, show up and see. Well, why didn't you tell us if you're so confident that you're going to whoop him? Tell us, yeah, okay, watch the type of whooping it's going to be. I'm going to bust him up. I'm going to drop him.
Just pull up and see.
The last time he said... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I said the last time he said he was going to whoop somebody's ass, it was De Los Santos. How'd that turn out?
Like, that's a great point. Or the thing that bothered me, the Hartunonian fight, I wasn't bothered by that fight because I already knew what was going to happen, more or less. I didn't expect him to all of a sudden turn into a killer. And that's the thing with people with Shakur Stevenson, I've said it before, get it through your heads. This guy is not going to turn into Roy Jones all of a sudden. That's not going to happen. This is the best he's going to be. So I guess Hartunonian stood his ground. And Shakur Stevenson, after the fight, he went nuts. He told Hartunonian, hey, you brought your track shoes today. You brought your track shoes. If he wants to see running, he should watch his fight against De Los Santos and against Nakatila. That was running. that level of delusion from this guy. And then afterwards, and I got the tweets here, he claimed that he accused Tim Bradley of obeying the ESPN agenda because he said he started off in the Hartunonian fight giving me credit, and then he switched it up. Because they told him in the truck, hey, start criticizing him. I mean, paranoia, man. I don't know if he likes to go for the ganja or whatever, but I don't know what he's so paranoid. But anyway, let's keep watching this clip here.
Okay, all right.
Pull up and watch.
All right, well, we're looking forward to
Yo,
a big
you gonna
fight.
be the commentator?
We'll see, Shakur.
Oh my God.
We'll see, Shakur. If you're lucky, yes.
If I'm lucky, shit. We care about the fans, man.
I call it like I see it. If you put on a clinic,
we care about the fans though, like.
He's saying he cares about the fans. But you remember after he stunk the joint out against De Los Santos, who did he apologize to? He didn't apologize to the fans. He apologized to Crawford, Mayweather, and Andre Ward, who were there to see him. That's who he apologized to, not to the fans. So all these
they also went after they also went after the fans. Like Crawford was like really sticking up for him, saying, "Listen, those guys, those fans don't know nothing about boxing. They never boxed before in their life. That's right. This is boxing. It's like brawl." So now he cares about the fans. Yeah, bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah, that's always the argument. Well, you ever boxed before? Fucker, we've been watching boxing. We know what entertainment is, and we know what quality is. What Shakur Stevenson brought to the table, you don't have to be a Golden Gloves boxer to understand that was crap. That was still crap. He could have done better. And that's even Shakur Stevenson, by virtue of apologizing, is admitting that it wasn't a good performance. So I don't want to hear anything else. But let's keep hearing what he has to say here.
Me too. I care about the fans.
You can't do that to the fans, bro.
Oh, thanks, Shakur.
Shit.
Shakur really cares about the fans.
Nobody want to hear you up there, though.
Hopefully, Shakur's going to treat the fans to a really exciting fight.
Okay.
I hope.
Now, Carpenter, there's some scratch in that kitten. Let me tell you.
And hopefully, you commentate better.
Thank you. I'm going to try my best. Brother. All right. Anyway, we're here with Shakur Stevenson, and we thank Brian.
So you see, Shakur Stevenson really. Yes.
This is just it's fucking ridiculous. Like Shakur really needs to grow some thick skin. Like, okay, you're getting criticized, but look, it's the way you fight. Okay, don't you guys said it perfectly. Don't say you're going to whoop somebody's behind and then go in there and play tag for 12 rounds. So it is what it is. Everybody gets criticized, but when you're being this sensitive on camera, like, you can play it off and say, oh, it doesn't really bother me, blah blah blah, but clearly deep down it burns them. It's like, well, look, are people not allowed to have an opinion? Like, I don't begrudge. Same thing with Devin Haney. I don't begrudge somebody for not liking criticism. I mean, I hate criticism. I used to think I had thick skin, but I'm not very good at taking some of the criticism I get. But if you're going to act like this in an interview when somebody's asking you very simple, basic questions, you're just going to build up more criticism. But maybe that's what Shakur wants. Maybe he's pulling a Teofimo Lopez and saying, well, I'm not getting enough credit for my fighting style, so maybe I'm just going to piss people off.
Are you saying you're the Shakur Stevenson of the YTBC? Is that what you're alluding to?
I like to I like to think I'm a bit more entertaining than Shakur is.
How dare you throw Shakur Stevenson on the bus like that? No, but yeah, maybe. But you know what? I've said it before. This whole concept of, well, I'm going to play the bad guy so people pay to see me lose. I don't even think that was true of Floyd Mayweather, because that's the guy that everyone always mentions. Oh, people pay to see Floyd Mayweather lose. I just think they paid to watch him fight because he was a big star, and they wanted. A lot of casuals said, "Hey, they're talking about Floyd Mayweather. Who's he again? Oh, he's this big undefeated virtuoso. Oh, okay, I'm going to watch him." That's how a lot of the casuals I knew did it. They didn't go, "Hey, I want to see he's fighting Robert Guerrero. Let's see if he can beat him." I never heard that.
Yeah, and a lot of guys that he fought also had their own huge fan base. So, like, how exactly do you get that number? I was like, well, a lot of people were watching because they wanted to see him lose. Like, no, he fought guys like Cotto, who had the Puerto Rican fan base. Manny Pacquiao was a huge star. Conor McGregor was a huge star. Canelo, De La Hoya was the big star before Mayweather was. All these guys had their own fans, but he gets credit for some reason. I never got that.
And people say, well, Mexicans paid to see him. They wanted the Mexican fighter to beat him. First of all, how many Mexicans did he really fight? Post Money Mayweather, he fought De La Hoya, Guerrero, Ortiz. They're not, I don't think they're really that Mexican. Maybe they disagree, but Canelo. Okay, Maidana wasn't Mexican. Pacquiao wasn't Mexican. Was that?
Yeah, well, it was just Canelo and it was just really Canelo, Marquez, and De La Hoya who were Mexican, but it wasn't just the Mexican fans he was going for. It was the Latin fan base fighting on Mexican Independence Day all the time, and also that's why he picked Ricky Hatton, because Ricky Hatton had the Brits behind him. So it was the Latin fan base in general. Like when. But
that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. Listen, Mayweather, when he fought Hatton and De La Hoya, those were entertaining fights. Now I know it was what De La Hoya and Hatton brought to the table, but those were relatively entertaining fights. Shakur Stevenson is not entertaining. A guy like Conor McGregor over at MMA, he became that. A lot of people, it's the same thing happened over at MMA. A lot of people saw what McGregor was doing, and they said, "Hey, I'm going to act like a jackass too, and I'll become as big a star as him." And it didn't work, because it's a bunch of factors that have to come together for that to work. Not just, I'm going to talk a lot or I'm going to be the bad guy. It's a whole bunch of things have to fit, and they don't seem to understand that. Hey, by the way, speaking of Shakur Stevenson, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Shaky Foster has been going back and forth. He's one of the many people that Shakur Stevenson has beef with, because, I think we just established Shakur Stevenson has thin skin. He'll go after everybody. And he was going after Shaky Foster. Shaky Foster accused him of sniffing nitrous oxide or something. I forget exactly what. Like, when people grab these cans of chemicals or whatever and they sniff the fumes to get high. Mm-hmm. That's what he accused him of. I should have saved the tweet. And again, I'm saying allegedly that's what Shakur Stevenson does, because we don't know. But Shakur Stevenson, he recently came out and issued a statement on that. Let's see what he had to say about that.
Hey, man, big dog, I need you, big dog, boy, look here. Boy, I need you bad, man. Shit, I need about 50, man.
All right, hold on. That's not him. Sorry, I made a mistake. Trying to find the clip here. Or maybe it's audio. Maybe it's, sorry. Maybe it's audio. But anyway, what do you guys think about the Stevenson-Cepeda fight?
I think Cepeda might beat him up, man.
And that face-off, Stevenson looks like he's finally facing someone that's his size. So this is a dude who has the style to beat him. Usually, pressure fighters do really, really well against pure boxers. So, and Stevenson doesn't like that heat. So we'll see what happens.
Interesting.
Cepeda got that style to outwork him, beat him.
I mean, I got to tell you.
Shakur should.
Go ahead, FST. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Shakur should shut him down. Like, he should beat Cepeda easy. Like 8 rounds to 4 minimum. The only question I have is if Shakur ends up breaking his hands, like Floyd did the one time. The only time he got an 8 count in his career, he hit the guy so hard he broke his hands, and he leant over and touched the ground. Like, he was in the super featherweight division at the time. If Shakur breaks both of his hands and Cepeda keeps marching him down, then we may have to see Shakur show a lot more toughness than we've seen. But Cepeda's proven to be, I think he's a hype job waiting to be exposed. So Shakur should win handily.
Well, the interesting thing about Cepeda is that, the last time Shakur Stevenson fought a Mexican, they made a big deal about Valdez. Even though Valdez, you want to talk about, I hate to use the word hype job, but they try to build him up as if he was a 130-pound Canelo. And I'm thinking, he was smaller than Shakur Stevenson. He wasn't as fast as Shakur Stevenson. The only thing he had going for him was a good left hook. And a good left hook, you got to be very adept at landing that punch against a southpaw. So he had a whole bunch of things going against him. Cepeda, at least, like Quentin said, appears to be as big, if not a little bit bigger than what's his name, Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur Stevenson, when he was asked, hey, are you going to run or are you going to stand and fight? He was ambivalent about answering. So you have to assume he's going to try to box from the outside. But I don't know, man. This is an interesting fight. Cepeda's going to make him work. That's all I know. And if Shakur Stevenson, Shakur Stevenson even said it. He said, look, I'm taking this fight seriously because I have to prepare seriously for this guy. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm edging it towards Shakur Stevenson, but he's gonna have Cepeda sticks to his opponents like glue. The only reason Farmer survived the rematch is because they allowed the clinching. If the referee would have done his job and taken some points away, I don't know if Farmer makes it the distance. So it's gonna be interesting fight. Okay. I like the fact that Cepeda made adjustments. Good, Gonzalo. Very good, man. I can hear you. What's up?
Yeah. No, I was just thinking as you're speaking, what I saw in the Tevin Farmer, okay, this guy talking about Cepeda, he throws a lot of volume. But even when he's tired, because obviously as human beings, especially in boxing, this is boxing. So, a fighter is going to get tired, especially with that swarming style, with that pressure. And nonstop, and he's just going for broke. Even he's got good cardio or not, if he's going balls to the wall, eventually you're going to be more tired than how you started fighting in the first round. But this guy doesn't hit the break. He's just throwing. When he gets to the third quarter of a fight, he keeps throwing. Even he's tired, and that leaves him defensively weak because he's right up on your face. And the problem that I see could happen that even he outlands in the third quarter of the fight, like in the 8th, 9th, 10th round, even though he's going, but he's tired and he's trying, but then he's weak. If Shakur lands 1 or 2, 3 counters that snap Cepeda's head back, and I'm not saying he's got the power to knock him out, but Cepeda's so weak that, he's focusing more on output than when he gets caught with a punch, the head snapping back, he's so tired and weak that he can't keep a good, strong foundation.
That's
true. And it's going to look real dramatic when he gets his head snapped back, because I saw Tevin Farmer doing that. And he was so weak because of the throwing of the punches that he looked at unsteady legs. It wasn't necessarily because he was hurt. It's just because he was trying so much that he did get caught with a good punch, a clean punch, and it almost looked like he's hurt. And that'll give the round on the judge's eyes to a Shakur, and he can sweep the latter rounds just like that, and he'll lose the fight.
Yeah, Stevenson's going to have to dig deep on this one, at least early on, because the guy's just going to keep digging at his body, hitting the arms, everything he can figure. So I do think Shakur Stevenson, he's a very big lightweight too. When you compare him, when you see him next standing or sparring, they got his after he spars Crawford, they take pictures together. He looks like a big lightweight. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, Gonzalo, I agree with you. Cepeda just keeps on throwing. His foundation starts crumbling a little bit as the fight goes on. So if Shakur Stevenson can sustain his pace above the 6th round, I think he's in a good position to maybe win the later rounds and get a decision. But hey, he's gonna have to dig deep. That's all I know.
I would, and if I could just add something, sorry, BDI, just quickly with Shakur, there's no. He hasn't had a fight where he's been in any trouble, so you just go off guesses. And some people, I used to overlook this, but now I think there might be something to it. Some people talk about how when guys like De Los Santos or even Valdez got close to him, he just looked uncomfortable. I've spoken to boxing insiders who say that's an overreach, that Shakur is perfectly fine. So this may end up looking like, I think you mentioned earlier, Floyd versus Guerrero, where Guerrero was there for 12 rounds, and when Floyd gave him opportunities, it was somewhat competitive. But as soon as Floyd did what he did best, stick and move, it was easy. And Zepeda's just, this is his. He's gonna lose this fight. I just wonder how much. Like him saying, "Well, are we going to go toe to toe?" he's trying to pull the Guerrero Floyd move, and Floyd didn't do that because it would have been silly. So Zepeda, he should have never looked as bad as he did against Tevin Farmer. So he's not going to win this fight.
But which fight? The first one?
Either fight. I mean, he got dropped in the first fight, and in the second fight, Farmer, he still couldn't cut the ring off against an old washed-up Farmer. So
wait. He couldn't cut the ring off. He kept. I mean, how is he not cutting the ring off if Farmer is clinching him every 5 seconds?
Well, Farmer did a lot of clinching, but Farmer was also able to move around the ring a lot more than he should have. Like Zepeda doesn't have Golovkin footwork, so it's not going to be. If he had a hard time pinning an old washed-up Farmer down in 2 fights, he's definitely not going to pin Shakur down. So it's only for me, his only hope is that Shakur breaks his hands.
But wait a minute. So you expected him to just keep Farmer on the ropes nonstop throughout the fight?
I expected him to stop him.
Okay, well, if the guy's clinching you every 5 seconds and the ref's not doing anything about it, I mean, he had Tevin Farmer doubling over. He had Tevin Farmer doubling over in the rematch.
Well, but he didn't stop him.
Yeah, but who says he has to stop him? I mean, he outworked him. He beat him up. Who says he has to stop him? So I'm just curious. That's the bar you set for Zepeda, that he has to stop these guys.
Well, I say stop him because that's how Zepeda fights. He's a big juggernaut who overwhelms you.
Farmer hasn't been stopped in 13 years.
Well, yeah, that's true. But Zepeda, he's much bigger than Farmer. He's younger in his prime. We saw what he did to guys like Maxie Hughes. So I wasn't impressed with either of Zepeda's wins. So which is why I said he's going to get exposed soon. So to me, he's not the guy who beats Shakur, but he is going to probably push him more than anyone else has.
Okay, so he's not that good. But then if he pushes Shakur Stevenson, then what does that make Shakur Stevenson? Should he beat him? Because you said earlier he should beat him easily, right? But now you're saying, I think he's going to push him.
No, well, I said skill for skill, he'll beat him easy because again, Zepeda's one-dimensional, and he's not. To me, he's proven to not be that good. But because Shakur can't punch and Zepeda's going to be there for 12 rounds, there's a chance I think that maybe he breaks his hands or hurts his hands, and Zepeda starts marching him down towards the end of the fight, maybe. But
well, I mean, listen, if you got weak hands, that's like having a weak chin. That's like having bad lungs. I mean, it's on him. And I still don't. The one thing I don't understand is what did you expect from Zepeda? You expected Zepeda to stop Farmer, but he did about as good as he could have. I mean, beating him off for 12 rounds. He caught some punches, sure, but isn't you just yourself said that Zepeda is a fighter waiting to be exposed, i.e., he's not that good, which I agree. I don't think he's a pound for pound or anything, but you expect him to get hit, seeing as how he's a guy who throws 100 punches per round.
Yeah, him getting caught by Tevin Farmer isn't the problem. It's how much he got caught, and that again he couldn't. I expected him to at least drop Tevin Farmer, and I mean, did he drop him in either of the fights? Like, and he's just sorry. I don't rate Zepeda, and I felt that kind of in victory, Tevin Farmer he got exposed against Tevin Farmer a bit, so he's not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna give Shakur. I give him credit because Zepeda's dangerous for 12 rounds, but it's not going to mean as much as a win over Keyshawn or Tank Davis will.
Well, I mean, but if you're saying exposed, yeah, his flaws were exposed, and I think they had already been apparent when he fought Alvarado. I forget if it was when he went 2021 or 2022, but he couldn't pin that guy down either. But he still beat him, and it's the same thing with Farmer. This benchmark that he should have dropped him. But that he should have stopped him or at least dropped him. I don't know. I think Zepeda's just a guy that outworks you. Hence why he's in trouble against Stevenson. If he can't outwork him, then he's in deep trouble because he's not going to outbox him and probably is not going to knock him out. So I agree with that. But again, the Farmer fight, he had him double it over. He had him reeling. The only reason he was able to make it out of there for me is because he was able to survive the high tide by clinching. And so that's another thing. You're talking about, well, what happens if Shakur Stevenson breaks his hands? What happens if the referee does his job and doesn't allow clinching? How's that going to look? Again, I don't expect Shakur Stevenson to clinch. He's not that much of a clincher. But it brings me to the other point that you said. You said that people are being overly critical of Shakur Stevenson's fights against Stevenson and Valdez. I don't think the Valdez fight there was too much criticism other than the fact that he hit him with some low blows that were ignored. But listen, against Nakatila and against De Los Santos, come on, FST, you have to admit that those were bad performances where he was highly uncomfortable. In fact, after the Nakatila fight, he admitted he was uncomfortable getting close to Nakatila because he got hurt in that fight and didn't like it. And then against De Los Santos, he apologized for the performance. So clearly he's telling you that those fights weren't as good as he expected them to.
Yeah, BDA, I said that I had questions about how tough Shakur is because, again, against De Los Santos, even though he won dominantly, he looks uncomfortable when somebody gets...
Wait. How did he win? Sorry, how did he win dominantly against De Los Santos?
He won dominantly in terms of points, but I think you're misunderstanding my point.
Well, how am I misunderstanding if you say that he won decisively? I mean, what am I misunderstanding?
No, he won clearly. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't exciting, but those are two different things. He won the fight clearly, but I question how tough he is because he looks uncomfortable when guys get close to him. But I've had boxing insiders say that Shakur's a lot better than that. So I'm just saying that I don't think the Zepeda fight is going to prove how great he is. It'll just... The only question is, how does he last for 12 rounds? But yeah, Zepeda,
I agree that
watching some of the highlights.
Listen, they're going to overrate him if he beats Zepeda. Yeah. Trust me on that. If he beats an undefeated Mexican, doesn't matter how good the Mexican is, they're going to overrate him. They were already overrating him a couple of years ago. But the thing is, when you say that, well, I've heard people say that he's better. We could say the same thing about Zepeda. We've heard people say he's better, but that doesn't mean anything. It's what he's shown in the ring. And when he fought Nakatila, he said he didn't want to get close to him because he didn't like getting hurt. And against De Los Santos, whether you think he won decisively or not, he clearly didn't want to get close to the guy.
Yeah, and again, I've got questions over that, but the difference is that Shakur he holds back in fights. He can do more than what he does. He just doesn't want to take risks. That's Zepeda.
Okay,
I'm just watching the fight now. That fight with the Farmer, especially the rematch, it was... I mean, first of all, there should have been an 8 count against him. So that's twice Farmer dropped him. And he couldn't... It wasn't just holding. Like, even without the holding, Zepeda couldn't put him away. So that's a problem.
I mean, that holding, if you're holding every 5 seconds, I'm sorry, the guy's going to survive eventually. If the other guy's going to get tired, and you can survive just based off of that, which is what he did. So you're saying he shouldn't? Anyway, the clinching is a big part of it, man. I can only wonder what would have happened without the clinching. There's a reason why Farmer was doing it, and it wasn't because he was being tickled by Cepeda's pressure. But this whole thing of Shakur Stevenson could be doing better, that's on him. Maybe he has the ability to do better. He didn't do it against big punchers like Nakatila and De Los Santos. And not for nothing, but there's about 2 clips out there of him sparring, getting hurt, and calling timeouts. The guy, I'm seeing shades of Tank Davis in him, of him looking for ways out during fights. Running around the ring, leaping around the ring like a rabbit. That's a way of trying to get out. And that's why I'm curious to see how he reacts to Cepeda's pressure. Real quick, shout out to Frankie Sainz for his contribution to the Super Chat. He says, hold on a second, I gotta put it up here. He says, hey, BDA, quick question. I've been a long-time contributor to the BDA establishment. Is there a way to edit out FST of the show? Come on. Is there a way to edit out FST of the show? I can't stand that cream puff. FST, don't pay attention to them. They're just trying to rile you up. See, they're trying to get a reaction. And if you give it to them, then those $10 actually transform into $1 million. Because that's what they're trying to do with you.
I hear you. I got to go in a few minutes anyway. But does anybody else come on your show and get as much criticism as me?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Julio,
no, you can stay on. You can stay on Fight Sports. Don't let them run you off like that.
Mirage, I got to go. It's the middle of day here, but
well, Mirage doesn't count because he's not a real, personality.
Not a real person.
Well, no, I mean, he's just a contrarian. But Julio, aka Food TV, people call him Julio all the time, and they go after him. So Don't worry about it, FST. Don't worry about it. But anyway, listen. Yeah, it's interesting. I like, for example, this conversation about Shakur Stevenson Cepeda. I disagree with the fact that that the Shakur could do more, or the clinching stuff with Farmer. But that's what we're supposed to be doing on this show. We're supposed to disagree. We can't be agreeing all the time. Otherwise, there's something weird going on. Something sexual in nature. Listen. Shout out to Frankie Sens.
What BDA? BDA, what is it with you and these sexual fantasies? Like, what the
Whoa,
fuck?
fantasies? What?
I mean, he was an ex-porn star. Yeah.
Wait, okay, hold on. Porn star? Where are you getting that from? No. Okay, you misunderstand. You misunderstand.
That's what you always say.
What do you say, Quentin?
I said you always say during your time in the industry. I think we know what you're talking about.
No, that doesn't mean I was performing. You can do other stuff. I could have been the sound guy. I could have been the editor. Could have been the graphics designer guy. It's a lot of different things. And by the way, fights FST. Let's get it straight. There's no sexual fantasy. I'm just saying. I was just pointing out the fact that if you're on a panel, if you're watching a show, and people agree all the time, then you're thinking, wait a minute, are they planning this beforehand? Because it's a little suspicious. When you're having these off-the-cuff conversations, there's gonna be a time where people disagree. If that's a normal conversation. But if it's a scripted one, then you're going to see some weird stuff going on. That's all I was trying to get at. There's no fantasies going on here. Now, let me say something else here. What was I saying about Shakur Stevenson? See, you got me all riled up now. Okay. On that same press conference, because remember, Shakur Stevenson versus Cepeda is not the main event. It could be, but that's how good this card is going to be, because the main event is actually Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz, Hamdulillah. And I'm telling you,
boy.
Berlanga is quickly becoming one of the weirdest, and I dare say entertaining figures in boxing, because this guy, you want to talk about deluded when it comes to Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. This guy is trying to beat them at their own. Check this out.
He is beating them.
Yeah, just
just like that. Listen, we in New York. This is my backyard. You know what I'm saying? His manager, that's his manager over there that was talking to you? Yeah, that nigga's tripping. He bugging out. He's saying that Shiraz gonna knock me out, and not even his own fighter believe that. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, he's wearing glasses indoors. He's got a big old chain. I think they call it, what do they call it? Ice? In the streets, right? Hey, check out that ice, yo. And also, he said the N-word. It sounded like he said it with the ER. Recognize you're Puerto Rican, like Berlanga. What's the official rule on that? Do you guys have the N-word pass, or how does that work?
Yeah, we do. Especially in New York.
All right. You said that very quickly, like, yeah. Then again, Recognize says he's got the passes for everything. He doesn't give a shit, so I don't know if Recognize...
I do.
All right.
I don't like using that stupid word, but yeah, I mean, they use it all the time. And I hope he gets knocked the fuck out. I'll be honest with you. I hope he gets knocked out.
PDA.
I don't think he will, but I hope he does.
Well, as somebody who keeps getting hated on this panel, I'm going to have to... People are going to hate this. This is the battle of the failed hype trains. Berlanga is trash, and Hamza Shiraz, he may improve, but he's probably going to be trash as well because of what Carlos Adames did to him. He had to get a robbery to get a draw. So the fact that this is the main event is just, it shows how limited Turkey is when it comes to boxing. It's just
by the way, my brother's listening. He wants you to know that we don't claim Berlanga.
Ah, come on. See, first of all, I was expecting FST to say something controversial, like, I actually thought Berlanga won the Canelo fight. Like, but okay, you didn't go that far. But Recognize, you're saying, hold on. You got you Boricuas, now you got Collazo, because there was a drought of Puerto Rican boxing. There wasn't, you had Verdejo, and then he went all, what's the name of that guy who killed his wife? What's a famous one? Anyway, listen, I was trying to reference that guy, but he went nuts, killed his wife.
This is taking a dark turn.
No, we have not.
You're talking Edwin.
He went but he killed the mistress.
Okay,
this is taking a major dark turn.
We haven't even gotten even darker. We haven't even gotten dark, believe me. But okay, but Collazo, you guys got now Collazo, Oscar Collazo.
Okay, BDA, You asked me to say something controversial.
No, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you to say something controversial. I said I'm glad you didn't say anything controversial.
Okay.
See, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I said earlier that sometimes there's a sexual connotation, and from that you extrapolated that I got sexual fantasies about the panelists. You got to listen, FSD. You got to listen. You got to listen to what I'm saying. Not just hear what I'm saying. You got to listen.
Yeah. Listen.
Hey, you know what? Stop listening to the people in the chat and start listening to the person that counts the most, and that's me. But go ahead, Gonzalo. What were you gonna say?
No, a strap on or strap.
No.
Okay, how about this? How about this?
Oh, sorry.
How about this? Gennady Golovkin may not be a top 10 middleweight.
What do you mean? Like all time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. There's a bunch of middleweight is stacked with great figures from the 100+ years of boxing. But I was gonna say, Boricua boxing. You got Collazo, you got Xander Zayas. There was another guy, not Edwin Rodriguez, because he's on the downslope now. But Collazo, Zayas. You got Berlanga. I think you should figure Berlanga in the reckonings. I don't think you should turn your back on him. I mean, yeah, okay, he's not that great. He was overrated, but he's a big puncher. Big puncher.
Just the shit. He talks so much shit, though.
Hey, man, that's a part of the game. What do you want from him? All right, let's see what he had to say.
It's a point, too.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, look at him. Glasses. He looks like he's wearing 3D glasses. You know those 3D glasses you wear at the movie theater? And that jacket, too. I don't know what that is. But anyway, let's keep hearing what he has to say.
So, at the end of the day, man, we here. You know, he said we overlooking him. I don't overlook no fighter. You know what I'm saying? You see what happens.
Listen, you're already talking about the Canelo fight, bro.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
You're already talking about the Canelo fight.
Listen. You gotta give your last fight, bro. You gotta give your last fight. You know that. You lost that shit. Even your trainer knew that you lost the fight, bro.
Listen, we're not talking about the past.
Your trainer even knew you lost the fight, bro. Your trainer even knew you lost the fight. And now you picked up Andy Lee, which I knocked his fight out. We went to broke his face, broke everything in his fucking his face, broke every bone in his face.
You didn't knock him out,
Andy Lee. I will fuck you up and Andy Lee the same night. You heard?
So he's talking a lot there. Talking a lot. And which is, listen, we need a couple more talkers. And do you guys find it entertaining, or are you like recognize where you find him annoying? More than anything.
Well, he's always annoying. Berlanga is one of the worst things to happen to boxing because
come on.
There's never sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry. You just got to call it how it is. Berlanga is one of the worst things to happen to boxing in the last few years, and I'll never forgive Eddie Hearn for introducing him to the world stage. Literally everything he says is wrong. So there's nothing more to say. The guy's terrible, and the mere fact that he's given this position, it just shows how backwards boxing is.
The only thing he said right there was that Berlanga said right was Adamus did beat Shiraz. I would say that.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so.
I disagree. I think the only thing right that he said was that he broke every bone in that guy's face.
I mean, is he talking about that Irish guy that he dropped in the last round, or
who knows? Who the fuck knows?
What was the name? I already forgot the name.
Guy who looked like he came out of prison.
Was it like Padraig McCrory or something like that?
Yeah, McCrory, I think, or something. I think that was before the Canelo fight, I believe. I think. Yeah, after he left Top Rank, Berlanga's career has sort of become a blur to me. I forget who he fought, but he wasn't done. Him and Shiraz didn't just stop it there. They continued the jawing.
Same question to you, but we're going to start with the hand. Hands are okay? Everything is good? Healed up?
Yeah, everything's all on point. So. Everything's all on point.
I hope so.
And in terms of my prediction for the fight, I go out there for a few jabs, land the right hand straight on his chin and knock him the fuck out.
Fuck out of here, man.
You like that energy, Edgar, huh?
He's smoking a pipe.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know what the reference is. Your prediction for this fight, main event, your backyard, this moment.
He fuck around be the 18th first round knockout.
First round.
He come to fight. If he come to fight and don't run like a bitch, because he got Andy Lee training him, so I already know what type of time Andy Lee's on. He gonna be on that boxing shit. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be running around the ring like a ballerina. If he comes to fight the first round, I'm knocking him out. Bad, like super bad. I'm knocking him out.
Do you think he stands in the middle with you and fights, as you say, in the first round, or do you think he boxes with you?
I don't know.
All right, so Berlanga is doing a lot of time. He's promising a knockout, which again, he hasn't knocked out anybody unless he knocked out that former convict. But we're talking quality opponents, so he should, listen. He's trying to sell the fight. I understand it. You don't have to like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, see, I talked a lot of shit. So,
bro, how you talking about boxing when you ran 12 rounds from Canelo?
Shut the fuck up.
He got him with that one, man. Shiraz got it. You could tell that's the best he could come up with. Shut the fuck up.
You have to silence, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go, but
you go ahead, man.
I was just gonna, I'll just say I gotta go, but the Shiraz should win the fight, but as far as the future, I don't think Shiraz is going to do much better because again he was just so lifeless against Carlos Adames. But it is better for him it is better for the sport if he wins, and he may win. But I mean, Berlanga again, terrible fighter, terrible addition to the sport, but he does. The guy does have some level of toughness, and Shiraz is the one who didn't show heart against Adames. So the fight actually it's probably going to be competitive.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think I'm not sold on Shiraz's chin. He's been hurt multiple times, and say what you want about Berlanga, but the guy can crack. So it's going to be interesting.
Also,
yeah.
I was just going to say also Shiraz's defense is not good at all. So the fight's probably going to be, and I know why Turkey's making this the main event, because it's probably going to be entertaining because neither fighter is that good. But it's probably going to look worse than in fact it will look worse than the Eubank Ben fight, where it'll be entertaining, but you're just going to be looking at this thinking, why are these two headlining the main card?
I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting fight. That's for sure. So I think that's what. And then on top of that, the undercard's pretty good too. But I think also the Turkey Al-Ashik, he likes his Muslim fighters. There's not that many around, and I mean, Devin Haney used to be a Muslim fighter, but I don't know what happened to him. And Tank Davis for a while, he was flirting with the whole Islam thing, and then he dropped that one too, like a hot bomb. Excuse me, bad choice of words, like a hot potato. So it's interesting though. I don't know. It says the Sheik likes his Muslim fighters. Maybe that's all that it boils down to. What was I going to say? Yes.
Who's this Kiwi cuck, man?
Nah, come on. Okay, now see, FST, he's trying to wind you up. That's never Sobers. That's what he does. He winds people up.
Get him out of here, bro. Get Mirage on here. You know what I mean? Get this geek out of here, bro.
Look. Come to my channel and debate, okay? Instead of throwing out these mindless insults.
FST, he left. All right. Shout out to FST. Thank you for dropping by. Hopefully he knows that this is all in jest, because he was really referencing. He was really referencing a lot today. So I was. By the way, we should call Never Sobers the clock master, because he winds people up. Well, go ahead, Quinn. What did you say?
I said Sober is the biggest bully on YouTube.
That's right. He's the big. He just, from what I understand, he just bullied a poor woman for the past month. Him and a bunch of other people just bullied a woman out of nowhere. That's what I heard. They've been bullying a woman, women and children. That's who Sobers goes after.
That's not a woman. That's a succubus. BDA.
Oh, come on.
This is a demon.
Oh, come on.
You know what I mean?
Come on. What's going on here?
It's not of this world.
Where's the Warrens at?
I finally found, because again, Oshaki Foster accused Shakur Stevenson of exhaling nitrous oxide or something like that.
No, BDA. He said he was doing whippets. Do you know what those are? They're the little cans of nitrous oxide. They're very small.
And
it's like some real,
Can you get high off of those, or?
Okay, so I never done this shit because the shit's like a little crack. It looks like some weird crackhead thing to do, right?
Uh-huh.
And but you're supposed to like crack it, inhale it, and then I think it only gets you high for like I don't even think a minute. It's supposed to give you like a buzz or something.
What the fuck?
Something like that, yeah. And it melts your brain.
I wrote whippets.
It's like inhaling like the computer duster, you know?
Oh yeah. That shit doesn't work either. I've tried it. No, I'm kidding.
It's something like that. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah. So okay. so that's a weird thing for Shakur Foster to accuse Stevenson of. There it is. Whippets. United Recovery Project. Why would you want to recover from whippets? Eventually, you get tired of that shit.
That little 10 box right there. That box of 10.
Uh-huh.
That look like bullets. That's it right there.
Look at that.
There's those little things.
Whipped cream chargers. I see. Well, Shakur Foster accused Shakur Stevenson of that, and Shakur Stevenson clapped back. He had something to say about it. This is what he had to say.
Yeah. I like a couple of dollars before, you know what I'm saying, get home.
All right, that's not it, obviously. Sorry, but I got the wrong audio. I don't know. I had the audio somewhere. I know he replied. I didn't imagine it. Or maybe I did too many whippets. Maybe I did too many whippets and I hallucinated the whole thing. I don't know. It's hard to tell nowadays. But yeah, Sobers, what do you think about that? What do you think about this Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda fight?
I think it's a fight that we've been wanting to see. You know, I think Shakur Stevenson is a chance to really prove everything that he says he's about, right? And I think it's going to be a good fight because I don't see the Turkey really doing him any favors because he's already disrespected Turkey online. Already said, fuck them towel boys. Yeah, he already had that little back and forth Twitter with him. So I think in that right there, this guy's very vain. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see these guys in a small ring. So I think it's going to be a good fight. Shakur's really going to have to prove himself. Shakur is really going to have to prove he's about that. You know what I mean?
That's a great point. I forgot about that. That he disrespected the Sheik, then he bent over for the Sheik, but the Sheik may not take this disrespect lightly. He might say, "Listen." Oh, that's the other thing, though. I don't have the specific time on the press conference, but there was a point where I think it was after they asked Shakur Stevenson about whether he was going to stand his ground and fight. Immediately, the Sheik called in. That's when he interrupted. He called into the host, and the host put him on speakerphone. And the guy, the Sheik was very adamant about this is gonna be big event for us. This is big event, and he kept saying big event, entertaining, big event. It's almost like it's quite coincidental that he called in right after they asked Shakur Stevenson about whether he was gonna stand his ground. So you're right, Sobers. We might end up seeing a small ring.
Put him in an 18-foot
ring. Take into account. The last couple fights, right, with the Canelo fight, the Haney fight, those are supposed to be really good. The Ryan Garcia fight, and they were kind of boring. So this guy's gonna have a talk with these people and say, "Yo, I'm not paying you to run around and do this bullshit." I have a feeling he's gonna let them know that.
They should really spread some epoxy on the ring just for the main event. I mean, just for that event, rather, for that fight, the Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Why not? Make it a party. Hey, Gonzalo, are you still there? All right, well, I wanted to ask Gonzalo to... Sobers, you go, because I wanted to hear your thoughts on Teofimo Lopez and him saying, get that liquor. He claims that he said, get that liquor multiple times and not that other word that you can't say anymore. Well, what do you think about that?
I think he was being slick, right? And he said it the first time, and then he said liquor the second time. So he can be like, look, see? You know what I mean? So, like, technically he's not lying or whatever. But he's trying to raise bait, and... He's doing it often enough that he's getting a reaction that he likes. That's some kind of positive reinforcement for him. Whether it's all the negativity from the FBAs, the black community, the black boxing community, they're not liking him and they're telling him, we want to see one of our guys beat you up. He's trying to fight Jaron Ennis. So so you know what I mean? Maybe he'll make that fight happen and it'll be a big thing. And maybe that's what he's looking for. Or maybe he's getting another kind of reinforcement from a racist like B and Bucho who are DMing him saying, yeah, man, you're an inspiration. Keep doing what you're doing. All the banana watermelon gags. I loved it. You know what I mean?
You're an inspiration. I mean, come on, man. The only thing he inspires me to every time he talks, I get inspired to grab that volume dial and just dial it all the way down. That volume knob all the way down. But listen, I've said it before. He can't be funny sometimes. Like when he was owning all those reporters who kept asking him about the racial comments, he goes, you know what? At the end of the day, we're all racist. because we're all against the race that matters the most. That's a human race. I said, that one was pretty good. That one was pretty good. And then when he starts saying it, and then he starts turning it on them, he goes, man, y'all are stupid. Y'all are stupid. And then he goes, the first human was from Africa, Lucy, the first human. Y'all need to do your research. It's like he's turning it on them. They're the idiots. They're the fuckbags. I really like that move. I really like that move there from Teofimo Lopez. He's got moments. He's got moments. Shout out
I
to
think
Dom.
Quinn was trying to say something earlier, and I cut him off. Oh, my bad. Yeah.
No, I don't think he wanted to say anything.
No.
There you go.
Okay, never mind.
Shout out to Don Madrazo for his contribution with the Super Chat. He says, the show needs a good antagonistic village idiot to entertain us all. Mirage, where are you? I'll even take Rare Breed. Come on. Where is this? Is today Pylon New Zealander Day or something? I mean, come on. I know Mirage is a fuckwit, but come on. You can't go around just every you can't go insulting a guy every other second, like Tyven Farmer Holtz every other second. That you just can't do that. It gets to be too much. Every once in a while, you're sprinkling a little jab here or there at somebody, but every other time, every other second, I don't know. It's a little too much. A little bit. But shout out to No Madrazos, by the way. His contribution.
He's been releasing videos, BDA. Have you seen any of them?
No, I saw people posting them. He posted one on the Open Lines Friday. He's using it as a vehicle to. He's using our pipeline to stream his videos. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he didn't even ask, did he?
He should have. He's got to pay a tax on that.
The Diddy tax. You hear that, Mirage?
The Diddy tax. We only charge one ass cheek. You only got to spread one ass cheek, not both. All right, listen.
Diddy tariffs.
Booty terrorists. We gotta go. We've been on here for we didn't even get a chance to open up the phone lines. But listen, fellas, we had a lot to get to. We hadn't been on for a while, so we had to recap all this news for you. But what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be opening up the phone lines in the next one. I promise, or we promise, because I'm not the only one that runs the show here. It's a group effort. But yeah, man, Sobers, Quentin, Guns, anything we forgot? Anything you guys want to mention?
There's one thing I did want to mention that I noticed about the fight between Canelo and Skull and Haney and Ramirez. If you look at them, they're almost virtually the same fight, right? Except that Canelo and Skull threw less punches, and you'll see opposite decisions. So you'll see how really the business of boxing goes. When there's agenda to be pushed.
That's true.
The guy who's coming forward, you know what I mean, against Haney, he doesn't get, he lost or whatever, but he was the one pushing the fight the whole time. Haney was disengaging completely, and they give it to Haney, and then Skull throws even less punches than him. You know what I mean? And Canelo's a guy coming forward, neither guy doing much, but he gets the decision. So
there you go.
I think it's garbage. I don't like that.
Well, listen, the last week I was praising Jim Lampley's return to the commentating booth or table rather, but there is one thing that always sort of baffled me about him, and it's quite convenient to bring it up here because it's a fair point. What you're talking about. I remember when Marc Antonio Barrera fought Rocky Juarez, rematched him because he had a tough fight with Juarez the first time back in 2006 in the summer. Then they fought in the fall, and this time Barrera he back foot bitched it. Barrera for one of the he was past his peak at that point, so he said, "I can't slug with this young buck anymore. I'm just gonna outbox him." But he ran. And Jim Lampley said at the end, because Rocky Juarez was sort of motioning him there at the end, like, hey, man, I'm going to come fight me. And Jim Lampley put the blame on Juarez, saying, hey, if you can't catch up to the guy, that's your problem. But then a year later, when Jermaine Taylor was fighting Corey Spinks, and Corey Spinks was being very negative, fighting very negatively, refusing to engage, and Jermaine Taylor couldn't do anything with him, Jim Lampley said, oh, you're not going to win a fight doing that. So again, see, that's to Sobers' point. Sometimes people pick and choose when they like a guy back foot bitching it and when they don't. Not for me, man.
Well, it's wherever the money is, right? I guess Jermaine Taylor was looked at as that's the guy that HBO was pushing, and then a year before that it was Marco Antonio Barrera, right? So yeah.
Yeah, well,
they have
that's
their favorite.
He was a big Barrera fan, Lampley was, and he was a big Jermaine Taylor fan. So he gave Barrera the benefit of the doubt when Barrera back foot bitched it, and then when Corey Spinks fought in the ass style against Jermaine Taylor, and made him look bad, all of a sudden Corey Spinks is a bad guy. So which one is it? Now, there's no black and white with me here when it comes to this issue. Actually, no, excuse me. That's exactly the way it is. I know for a fact, back foot bitches, they don't get no leeway from me. Or very little, I should say, to be a little bit more exact. You're not gonna, if Cepeda back foot bitches it against Shakur Stevenson, I'll tell you. The guy's a back foot bitch. He fought in the ass style. He fought in the mass style. Mass ass style, as I like to say. Mass means more, by the way, for people that don't know in Spanish. And that's, that's the way it is. I don't like it. I don't like the back foot bitches. I don't like the ass style. I'm not going to pick and choose. Anyway, we got to move on here. We got to go. Shout out to all you people out there. Shout out to Earl Stevens. Oh, shout out to Earl. Shout out to Earl. Skull Kid 25, Warrior Way, Rapax Trunking Company. Shout out to Rapax. Hadn't seen him in a while. Says 10-4. Shout out to him. Shout out to who else was here?
Look at that, baby. Look at that. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That. Look at that. Look at that. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Why is Senior so excited by those abs?
Look at that body, Christ. Look at that body, bro.
Look at that bulge, bro.
Ay, ay, ay.
Again.
Yeah, why is he so impressed by the abs, the bulge? What's going on here?
Showing off the abs. Okay, Barack, you see some of that?
I like that. No, I don't mean I like that. What I'm saying is, you're too late. You're too late. I already killed it.
Let's take it.
What's going on in boxing? And then people accuse me of having sexual fantasies about the panelists. I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like the same thing with Jim Lampley and all these other people. They don't keep it consistent. For other people, they let it go. But with Mr. BDA, Mr. BDA is a degenerate sex bag. He's a creep, a pervert, all of which is true. But I'm just saying, why don't you call other people out about it? Just me. I'm getting bullied, like FST was getting bullied earlier. Difference is, I got real problems that I got to deal with as it pertains to that. Anyway, fellas, thank you for joining us. We got to go. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Well, first of all, shout out to everybody who joined us on the panel. Quentin, Never Sobers, Fight Sports Talk, who was here. He's a good sport. He took it in stride. Bucho was here earlier as well. The Guns. Shout out to Gonzalo. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Amok, Windy City, Rapax Trunking Company, Knockout Ned, Real Talk Combat, Epadokua, Earl Stevens. Earl, shout out to Earl. Shazar, Dex 2024, Amok. Shout out to Amok. Watch out for Amok on the Discord. He's going to be putting, I think there's like some sort of weird Tibetan Taekwondo tournament going on at midnight. So he's probably going to be posting
What?
Yeah, that's what he does. He watches all these obscure martial arts tournaments taking place across the world. He's always posting tweets.
That's right. He likes to watch like Krav Maga competitions.
Yeah, he likes the Krav Magu and the Taekwondo and all that. The Wing Chun.
Israeli martial art, right?
Absolutely. He says, come on, in the BDA voice. Come on. He's stealing my voice. What was that?
That's his people's martial art, Krav Maga.
There you go. Yeah, that's the people's, the chosen people's martial art. Shout out to Neto El Loco at 75. Wait, he changed his name? What the fuck? So shout out to Neto El Loco, Edomite Killa, Dark K Dog. Who else? Warrior Way, Skull Kid 25, Adam, Buddy Lee, Hand History Vault. If I forgot anybody, Mohammed Amard, Bruce Lee, shout out to him. Manos. Everybody who donated via the super chat, shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one.